allowing things to get a little bit shaky and a little bit weird.
Yeah, that makes sense as well. We just need to get into this. I want to see something different from the Huns here. Mood seems to be really good on the Monte side of things. He's laughing a little bit there. They got Kakafu in the back as well. Don't get to mention him enough. I feel like sometimes that happens with the coaches, but obviously he's got a lot of experience at this stage. So I bet he could bring a lot to the table as well. Here we go. Monte going to be starting on the CT side, and it's the Huns on the T side. So once again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here. We're on the B stream for PGL Astana. And let's see what we can get. We've got decoys outside. We've got the actual team headed towards the ramp position. And Rainwaker is here, listening for the footsteps. I thought he was going to stick around. I'm glad that he didn't. For all tries to fall back, but he is actually just mowed down by controls. That's a very nice rundown. Suru missing a couple of shots. Now it's the dualies, the Bimas. He's got infinite bullets. Still 13 of them left here for the fight, and Asua's got a chance to reload. So unfortunately for the Huns, that fight takes so long that more and more CTs keep showing up on the spot, and it's Afro with a double headshot to close out the round.
Yeah, I think that's a key point to really drive home as well. It's like they had good positions, but as you highlight, they didn't get it done cleanly enough. You got into this weird war of attrition where it allowed the rotations to come through, and you just didn't finish off the prey fast enough. So that really caught up with the Huns. And that has been a recurring theme. I mean, we saw them play Nuke yesterday against Fisher College, and sure, they did end up winning out fairly convincingly in the end. They had a 13-8. But do keep in mind, the first half went 7-5, and that was them conceding 5 rounds on their CT side. So there were a lot of issues, especially on the T side as well. We said this multiple times, like they're pushing onto a site with 15-20 seconds to go with, and they were somehow making it work time after time, purely picking that 50-50, that coin flip, and it goes in their favor. I'm thinking of one round in particular. They pushed on B site with 10 seconds. They managed to just about avoid Thor, who was watching with the AWP. But if anyone's in the control room window or doors, the round is done. And I just feel like Monte are going to be more than good enough to punish those potential mistakes.
Yeah, and I think you even had the luxury in this round of Rainwaker potentially making a bit of a, I won't say a big mistake, but just kind of sticking around longer. Maybe, obviously he wanted the headshot and then to fall off the box, but when you're hearing that many footsteps coming in the ramp, it's especially in a pistol round, it's probably better to run out of there a little bit earlier. So they even had that early kill on Rainwaker, and in spite of that, it gets slowed down. They end up taking the fight a little bit too long, and it just doesn't work out for them. So a momentary break here as we are checking out some sort of PC issue down at the end of the RAM. Oh, TeamSpeak issue. Fair enough. Do need the communication, so we'll get that fixed. We'll get that sorted out. Get it out of the way early on here. But I'm glad to be seeing Nuke wins. It still is, I think, one of the most entertaining maps. So I'm always down for some Nuke.
Yeah, as am I. I think it's one of those maps as well, to credit Valve. I think they've done a really good job of changing the map without entirely kind of destroying the core vibes of what it brings to the table. They obviously gave it a facelift as well, going through into CS2. I think that was way more vibrant, way more interesting to look at. And they haven't always landed the mark on that. I'm thinking of Cobblestone. They killed my boy. I used to love that map. Some of the changes they made were questionable, to say the least. So yeah, I mean, Nuke for me is a fantastic map. Strategical, has a really good place right now in CS. And there's a lot of talks about, Cash coming back. What's it going to be replacing? I think Nuke is safe. I can't imagine you'd remove Nuke for Cash. That to me would be madness when you have Inferno, Mirage, and Dust2 that are all potentially in the chopping block.
I would be so upset if that happened. I do like Cash, and I've been playing around with this latest version, trying to. There are some things about the new Cash that I find to be weird compared to sort of the older versions of it. I feel like there's so many places that are closed off that weren't in the past. Like there are sort of like windows that are missing, and there's just a lot of stuff like that makes the map maybe a little bit more one-dimensional than I remember. But I still think it could be a really fun map, and I'm curious to see how it plays in in high-level Counter-Strike. I haven't really got a chance to see that yet. I tried to look for matches on YouTube because there were like a couple of questions that I had, but I couldn't really find anything yet. So I guess that's still coming in the future. Oh, long pause that we're waiting at here. Monte, they get the round, and then they kind of get to sit back and take a deep breath, which I guess when you've got some experience on land, it's not really the end of the world. It's one of those things that can happen, and you know, the more you play, the more you realize this is also part of the game, is resetting for those kind of rounds and just accepting that this can happen. But okay, we got it back now. The countdown has resumed, so thank you for your patience, everybody. It is going to be Monte winning the pistol here. Good to recap with the highlight, the dualies, and Astu, and then Afro at the end, doing really fine work. So let's see how it goes in the second round. It's going to be coming up now. Huns, no bomb plant, so they can't really do much in this one.
No, sir, apologies there. I did just drop for a couple of seconds, but I'm back now, so fingers crossed we're all good. We had a little tech issue in the game, and a little tech issue for me as well, but it all seems resolved. They're all up on main for the time being. As you say, without that bomb plant, realistically, you're expecting this to be pretty one-sided. As many SMG kills as possible. They do have one of those two SMGs in main as it stands, so once Zeralt does drop in, I think his days are certainly numbered. Do you have a Deagle in play? But yeah, I think realistically, Monte are dialing in this 2-0. And really started to establish themselves a little bit. Nice shot from Afro as well. He's a player we're going to be looking out for, Anders, especially on the CT side. When he has that open in his hands, he's going to be a real problem.
Yeah, we always end up talking quite a bit about him. Seems to be kind of fired up as well, even with the M4. But that AWP, yeah, that's something to really look for. I don't even think so far in the tournament I've really seen Afro even do anywhere near his best work. So that could even be like a potential sort of gift to us in this game, is if we can start to see more of what I would consider sort of the real Afro AWPing. It could be really fun and exciting to watch. Gizmi's going to get a couple of kills there with the MP9. We love that for the cash in itself. But we're going to swiftly move past this one. Nothing exciting to talk about into the third round. And we will have AKs across the board for the side of the Huns. And it could be very important here early on. It's a bit of a bonus situation for Monte as well, with you know, keeping the double MP9 intact. There is a chance that you will want to throw these into some kind of aggression, which a nuke, there are so many ways. Like, it could be a lobby crunch. It could just be, you know, playing forward even towards the silo, or you could be, you know, down in the vents or whatever. Like, there's so many ways to do it, but wouldn't be surprised if they try something with the MP9s.
Definitely like to try and utilize those weapons to where they are the most strongest suit. I think it may also call, though, especially if they've done their homework, and we know Gizmi's the type of IGL that certainly does that they would have noticed how slow they were on the approach against Fisher College at times, and it really did backfire. It was the same thing as well over on Inferno, which obviously we're not going to see play today. But it has been a consistent theme with the Huns, who just clearly are not feeling it. There is just something that's not quite there yet. They haven't hit that X factor. Maybe today's the day. 1-for-1 trade early doors, though, but Afro is down at 21. And I do hear your point that we've not seen the best of him so far in this event. I think he was shut down early on against FURIA and Falcons. He did shine in against Magic, though, especially on Dust2. So we'll see if he can do that again today, as Dust2 will be in the pool.
50 seconds left in the round. Afro is pretty tagged up here. Bartak is looking to open up down towards the middle. There is one of those MP9s down here. Going to be pushed in front of the Molotov. I can't believe he gets away with hitting not just the shot, but the headshot onto Bartak as well. Rainwaker. They throw that Molotov, and they must know they were expecting him to be potentially pushed up. So that's why they were waiting for him to kind of, you know, run in behind the windows there. And in spite of that, they can't even find the kill on him, and he's only got the MP9. That's a classic, I think, example. That's a great reason why we're saying this, that something about the Huns just feels very off at the moment, because that should be some fundamental Counter-Strike stuff. Like, we're throwing the Molotov, we're trying to force the CTs out. When we force them out, we try to kill them. That's the template for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to put your finger on what exactly is going wrong with the Huns, because obviously we're not a fly on the wall. We can't hear the comms. We don't know what's going on with these guys, but they really do just seem to be off, like, running off different scripts entirely. I mean, you've got 2 kills collectively in 3 rounds. Monte got 3 kills in that last one with MP9s. They're already multiple players up 5k and above, and the Huns run Tech 9s in this round. Like, they've picked up multiple AKs, 3 or 4 in total from the Huns. That last round was a full-on investment. It just doesn't get any worse as a start for this if you're on the T side of Nuke. And a lack of really anything in Afro, the double nade stack, just destroying 9 and Zeralt.
Oh, I appreciate the comedic timing of that, Vince. You said it doesn't get any worse, and the second you said that, like the grenade lands and just blows up two people. That's fantastic work. Wow, yeah, great start, like you said, for Monte. 4-0. A quick check-in with the chat early in the morning. It's always dangerous to do that, by the way. I've noticed that Dovi is calling the Huns bots and trash, but then he's appealing to freedom of speech and asking not to be banned, which I think is an interesting defense. So for now, he's not been banned, I can tell, but I just haven't seen that defense before in Twitch chat. But shout out to you guys for hanging out with us. We're in the 5th round, and we do have AKs out now again.
We saw the Huns miss the same smoke yesterday.
We did.
On top of main, guys. We even had a conversation about Molotovs and volumetric smokes because of it, and they've done it again.
Yeah, it's not exactly ideal. And it's also, I think, it's one of those things that can dent the confidence a lot when you're on the T side. If you start missing too many smokes, you know, even if you don't directly die from one of them, it just feels like, what are we doing here? Score is one of those players that we said, if they were going to have a chance later in the tournament, it had to be Score playing, you know, a really high level of Counter-Strike and probably controls and Bartek as well, joining him in that fight, which we've yet to get there, but so far they've taken the early kill on a Suwu. Seralt's going to be going down following it, and still got 50 seconds. Working towards the ramp. Bartek, he dies. If he could have made his way there, he could have created such a big distraction that where they could have done more with the bomb, because the bomb is down below right now. It's on 9, who's kind of, you know, walked down towards the lower part of the map. Unfortunately, his teammates are far away. I mean, it's very hard to see how they can even get to sort of join up in this fight right now. Very confusing round, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and time is low. They're so isolated from one another, split up. They don't have any control over either side. They do have a kill. The score's now been counted. Controller's going to show his hand, but they still need to cross to the site. But downstairs, 9 gets Gizmi, who had no idea. So it seems like the Huns, with 8 seconds, are going to be able to seal this one up. It was so back and forth, though, and if one of those trades goes slightly wrong, it's an entirely different ball game. However, BMAS is still in with a chance, still healthy.
Yeah, he wants to take a look, just see if he could spot anyone out. Very risky, and I think, you know, he's got the AK. They have quite a bit of money, but still, you're probably not going to be finding both these players. There is a kit down there at the bottom, I suppose, so in theory, but it's such a long run. I don't blame him for kind of giving up on this one, especially with the AWP being there. Interesting with this much money. I think there's an argument to be made to save one of the AKs. There are probably teams that would have done that, to be honest. But I don't mind this at all either. Control's going to go up with the bomb. Huns are on the board with, I've got to be honest, a very strange round. I feel like even at the outset here, it's great that 9 managed, like you said, he picked up Gizmi down below, and that's an interesting find, but there's so much of this that it still looks very unstructured for me, and I can think of, you know, 50 different ways that this round could have blown up in their faces if just one more mistake had happened. So, very strange.
I'm trying to think and give Huns the benefit of the doubt that maybe that smoke on top of main is by design to try and neutralize Afro's prowess with the AWP. If they think he's going to be playing on Garage here, which he does play very often, that extra smoke can give you a little bit more leeway to drop down and get up close quicker. I'm really clutching at straws here. I think it probably is just missed smokes, but we'll see. If we catch it again, then maybe it is by design. Afro, though, through the smoke, hits 9 in the head. Down he falls alongside Controllers, and although they have managed to get Zeralt down into secret, it's at great cost.
Yeah, losing a couple early on, it's not exactly what you're hoping for. Bartek very slowly jiggling its way around the corners, but there's nobody here except for Rainwaker, and that's the one position that he's not able to clear out. Trying again to provide a little bit of pressure, and again, I think the main thought there for Bartek is if he can win that ramp control, then he's going to open up the map for the rest of the team. When he doesn't do that, unfortunately, they're in an even tougher position. Seralt going down again. He's 0-6 right now. 9 is 1-5, and Bartek's 1-6. So, and I guess even for the rest of it, they got 2 and 3 kills on controls and score. So, in terms of the actual impact and getting kills, a lot of talk about strategy and missed smokes and timings, but at some point, you do need to pick up kills, and if you're not able to do that, it is going to be an issue.
Yeah, 100%. I remember Gizmy had an interview, and he literally just said the same thing. He was like, it's all well and good in me doing all of this like crazy prep work and running through strats, but at the end of the day, you still have to click heads. You know, that is a big part of Counter-Strike. If you can't aim, if you can't hit the side of a barn, it doesn't matter how intricate your strategical elements are, you're still going to lose. And that's kind of been what Huns have been all about this event so far, I've got to say. And I think that previous round we just watched, Anders, is further kind of proof of what you were worried about the round before. It's like, yeah, you've won a round, Huns. At no point did you feel convinced about anything that you were seeing. It easily could have gone wrong. The next round, they get banged out super convincingly, and it's just right back to square one. It's like one step forward and 10 steps backwards.
Yeah, I think maybe one way to think about a strategy, it's not, and maybe the only goal of running strats, but for a lot of the time, you're really trying to put the game in a state where you just have a really unfair advantage in terms of taking the fights against the enemies. So I mean that's the whole goal. But the problem with the Huns is they're not getting into positions where they are even able to sort of execute those strategies at the moment, because they end up losing players very early on, and that is a bit of an issue. But yeah, 5-1 feels similarly flat as to some of the other Huns games that we've been seeing, which does make it very difficult to kind of be fully engaged in the game, because you're waiting for them to do something. It's like a weird waiting game watching it, and that's very much my experience in the other Hun games that we've been covering so far. It's just this feeling of, come on, we need to get activated. We need to see some more initiative. We need to see something that's being accomplished here. Otherwise, it's very, very tricky to follow what is the plan. Shots coming through. Oh, they're actually flashing their way in. What a wild play. Afro setting up Gizmy to get the double kill. I was about to say the Huns is a dangerous game to be running around on that side of the smoke trying to take shots through when all you have is one AK on the other side, but they actually get interrupted doing that, and it works out pretty well for Monte.
Afro repositioning outside, going to be going into the lockers instead, and does nail the shot onto controllers. So once again, Monte in a fantastic position, and even though 9 had his crosshair perfectly placed, Afro still swoops around the corner and lays him down, tames him. And there's not really much that Score can do. I mean, you don't want to hold on to a Tech 9 at this point. You have to run in there and try and get a bomb plant, bare minimum. But you're walking into a brick wall of a Monte defense that's looking more like a fortress at this stage. He may very well be able to force this bomb plant in, although he decides to go for the back of the silo, which is going to play into the hands of Heaven. He doesn't know this, but maybe if he'd gone for a plant for the main side, he may have got away with it. Either way, 6-1, and it has just been so flat, as you highlighted. And I think the concern for me as well, Anders, is like, if they had a roster change just before this event, like a couple weeks ago, I could give them the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, it's growing pains.
Sure.
You know, it happens. These things can happen. Like, it's fine. They'll be on the right track soon enough. Controllers joined back in January to replace Cobra Zero, and he's also the IGL. They've had 4 or 5 months now. So if this is what we're seeing after 4 or 5 months, I mean, it's bleak to say the least.
Yes, and you know, even though, like I said, I think Monte's a really fun team to watch. I quite like watching Monte games, actually. These aren't the heaviest hitters in the whole tournament, right? We're not talking about like AIM superstars all across the board for Monte in that sense. So you would want to see the Huns be able to take some of these fights and win them with some kind of reliability, and that's not what we're seeing at the moment. Afro, ooh, that's a great pickup. That's what I want to see more out of. Controls, he's gonna get that kill, actually out-dueling the AWP, and Bartak taking down Rainwaker. So 3 versus 4 here. More of this, more rounds that look something like this, and it could be a lot more exciting. Suwu is there, and they've gone for a pretty quick rotation down below. Huns gotta be careful. There are 2 people, and it could be a pretty dangerous setup if they don't manage to smoke out anyone here. Suwu just spinning around and finding 9, walking up behind him, but Gizmy can't help out, and that is because of a good smoke being thrown in from the Huns, trying to make sure that Gizmy can't help out a Suwu.
Yeah, signs of life, much better from the Huns. As the bomb starts to get planted in, Gizmy makes moves. That Molotov may actually keep him alive for a few more seconds, because Zeralt has him on the cross. And it's unlikely that Gizmi's going to be able to fully commit to wide swinging this angle, especially now that BMAS is dead. They know where he is, and Zerol will nail the headshot. And a quick correction from me as well. Controllers is actually the captain of the team, not the IGL. That is 9. So, correct.
Fair enough. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is one of those rounds that we could say, you know, that's encouraging. And imagine this, well, if you're on the Hunt side of things, right? Like, this feels like, okay, we went to the ramp, we had some real impact, we traded our way through, it all worked out just fine. So, a couple of more rounds like this, and that kind of confidence should build. Because it's unfortunately way too rare that we do get to see this kind of an output from them. Interesting position, right next to the incendiary. Doesn't burn him, and neither does this one. There's the Molotov on top. Bimas, oh, they're jumping out below. Asuwu's there. They don't actually get to clear out the hut at all. Great double kill for Bimas. And the fact that he found that one corner to stand on, it is a very tricky thing when you're Molotoving the roof that early on. Sometimes they don't spread all the way. It's kind of it's a bit of an art form, really.
Yeah, I totally sold them down the river, though, didn't it? I mean, they probably would have died anyway because there was 2 players up in the rafters, but a lot of that is facilitated by the fact that there was still a player on hut. You don't have to be as concerned about a squeaky push. If you have a player hut there, once the Molotov clears, he can watch the closer angles. Either way, though, 9 is last man standing, 1 kill to his name. I don't necessarily anticipate that the Huns are going to get close into this game, Anders. I just want to see them have a go at it, you know, like...
Sure.
I said this about Fisher College yesterday. Just leave it all on the server. Make sure you come out of the event feeling like you did everything you possibly could to get some results, because I feel like what we're seeing right now from the Huns is basically 5 individuals desperately trying to make some kind of teamwork just magically appear. And it just isn't happening.
Yeah, I think if I had to say anything kind of positive here for the Huns at the moment, I'm guessing what they were trying to do in this kind of a round was... You know, they've gone for a bunch of much slower kind of default plays, checking out ramp and pushing outside and all the rest of it. And this last round, they tried to really rush the A-bomb side and change the pace and hoping to catch Monte off guard a little bit. So maybe that was the idea, but unfortunately, that just didn't work out. Now they're trying it once again and Bimas up at the rafters here. Flashbang was good, but unfortunately, they'd already lost 2 players by that time. Gizmi gets a headshot as well, and now they're so slowed down that Flash not going to be helpful on any level. So kind of back to the same well. And the problem usually with hitting the A-bomb site when you know that the CTs have a good economy is that there's going to be all of those anti-rush grenades that we always end up talking about. Like there's very often going to be incendiaries towards the squeak door, or there are going to be incendiaries in the actual hut and all the rest of it. So it can be very, very hard to make this work. I think, unfortunately, the flashbangs that were meant to stop Bimas from getting those double kills, they're a little bit late. He might have turned around for the first one, but certainly the second one did flash him, but only after he'd got the double kill.
Right, exactly. Yeah, not quite on the same page. I mean, at this level of CS as well, even half a second, a quarter of a second off makes all the difference, as you just highlighted there with those 2 flashes. If the first one hits BMAS, they could have potentially killed him, got onto the bomb site, everything's different, and we're talking about how maybe the Huns can draw themselves back into this. But it's pretty damning when on your choice of map, on Nuke, a map that you're typically really powerful and strong on, have very high win percentage, you've mustered up 2 rounds on your T side. That's it. And you've basically got 4 opening picks. So you've had opportunities. You've had the opening duels going your way, and you still haven't been able to capitalize on them.
Yeah, that is the state of the game at the moment. And again, in terms of the kills here, it's still a little bit lackluster, to be honest, on that side of things. 15 kills in total across the Huns in 10 rounds. So that does say something about the overall output. Rainwaker is back here. The grenade that landed on them, they might think he's fallen back down the ramp, but they should be suspicious at the angle that it came from. Controls, I think, gets wallbanged from Afro. What an annoying situation. They are getting close, but they don't quite check it. I thought they were. I thought they were going to go take a look here. Now they're going to know, and Rainwaker should be traded out at this stage here. But Afro trying to help out. Lands a shot against 9. Makes it a 5 versus 3. And they just look frozen. Like, where's the initiative here for the Huns? You've got a player that's trapped back here. Rainwaker must be confused. Like, why am I being allowed to live this long after I've basically been revealed?
Yeah, it's like a deer in the headlights. You know, just completely frozen in place. They've got an entry onto the site. Beautiful shot from Score. Finally something to get a little bit excited about on this Huns team. Some individual flashes of brilliance, but will it be enough? They're still 2v3 downs, their ult's on 2 HP, and they're starting to slowly creep their way in. Afro may not be long for this world. Should be a gun at any second now. Get shut out. 2v2, 20 seconds.
Yeah. So the fact that there's 20 seconds is a big issue here. Rainwaker, oh, he's got the bomb. They can't make it. They actually can't even make a bomb site. They've lost the round just because, again, they're not doing anything. They get the kill on Afro. At least if they push towards the ramp, you could say, well, that's it. Like, they can maybe pick up the bomb and try and go for it. That would have been possible at the point in time when they killed Afro, but they just simply give up the round. I'm even looking at Monte. They look slightly confused. They're like, okay, well, I guess we're not fighting for that round. I was about to say, Monte had an interesting setup there, because even if they kill Rainwaker at the ramp, the second player was waiting down below for Monte. So if you had killed Rainwaker and you ran in there with a bomb, there was a chance you're going to lose the round anyway. But very confused, to be honest. I feel like we started out saying it, and I know it sounds like we're just kind of, you know, putting on a real hate parade here for the Huns, but it is just, unfortunately, it's just way too flat. There we go. 9 picks up the first one. Gizmi's outside, though. They're up on top of the silo above him. He will get one more kill. 3 bullets left, so it should be the end of the line for him here, and he's going to get grenaded out. It's a good job for Seralt.
Yeah, grenaded or basically firing squad. He decided he wanted to try and go out on his shield. Definitely appreciate that one. As he drops down to vents, that would have been heard from the squeaky player. And Score always seems to just find a way to thread himself through those little gaps, but he's on the receiving end of a headshot expertly delivered from Waker. And Bartak, he's got the bomb, but I mean, everything else is stacked against him. Are we really about to see a 10-2 first half on the Huns' choice of Nuke?
It definitely feels like it, and it's not one of those 10-2s where, because sometimes we will be coping quite a bit on the casting front and say it's a 10-2, but you know what? Like, if there's a couple of things that changed, it would have been very different. Like, you hear casters say this sometimes, and sometimes it is true. This time, it's a 10-2 that could have been a 12-0. Like, that's what it feels like. It's just, it unfortunately nothing that's really been proven here by the Huns. There's so many things to discuss in terms of getting the openings, but also in terms of adjusting to the game state when it changes. Like, I think that one round where Rainwaker's in the back, that's like a perfect encapsulation of some of the things that are going horribly wrong. Like you said, a deer in the headlights. Like, the whole team just freezes and nobody does anything. Like, nobody's taking up the mantle of saying, okay, I'm going to flash our way in, or let's peek him from the same side, or we could ignore him and fight Afro instead if we think we can get that fight over at the, you know, the AWP position. There are so many different ways to do that, but doing nothing just is never going to work out.
So there's a couple things that kind of echo your sentiment about this could have been a 12-0. First is, collectively, the Huns had 20 kills in that first half. They're averaging below 1 kill per round. That in itself is insane. Second point is, they got 1 bomb plant in the entire half, Anders.
That's not great. It's not ideal. Well, you know, for a bit of an update, our wonderful PGL developer is saying that there's an extension, a PGL extension that you guys can download if you are over on Twitch, apparently. So go check that out. You know, give you some feedback if it works. Don't know, I haven't tried it myself, but maybe I will later on. 9 creeping forward. Now it's the second half here. The Huns are going to be on the CT side, and they desperately need rounds. Bimas is going to get a kill in return, however, and it's going to be 9 going down here. Controls, he will fall next. Bimas keeps it going. He's had a great game. 10 and 3 on him individually. Score will be the next to fall, as Bimas is just fighting and shooting his way through the round. A triple on him, bombs planted. Unfortunately, it's sort of the opposite of what we needed for the Huns here. I don't know what to say, Vince. I'm trying my best to keep like an optimistic outlook on life, you know. I feel like I'm in the trenches being like, okay, it's not perfect, but you know what?
Yeah. We're about to go over the top, boys. Fine. No problem. Oh, yeah. Oh. Machine gun down. feels bad. Also, I just realized my brain is melted so hard. I said 20 is less than 1 per round. That just isn't true, is it? It's less than 2.
You know, I did.
That's what I was going for.
I did think about that, but then you had me second guessing myself because I started thinking about like maybe he's doing like some really cool math where it's like he's saying that, you know, between the 5 of them on average, that didn't make any sense. I just thought, you know what, I have a rule. I try not to do any math on broadcast because so often when I do, it just completely fails. And I don't need any help making myself look stupid, so I feel like I just, you know, just avoid it at all costs, really. But what I can tell you, if you consider it math, is that Afro is 17-4. It does involve numbers, and he's doing really good. The numbers are big, I can tell you that much.
Big number is good in this regard.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. We did say, you know, this tournament, I don't think he's been bad by any stretch, but we were maybe expecting fireworks. I thought against Falcons he might shine, and even though it was a fairly close game, both maps were 13-10, 13-11, I believe. He didn't have individually a great series there, so it's good to see him back in the hot seat. Sure, it's the Huns. Sure, they've looked pretty atrocious, if we're being honest, but he's still put the kills where it has been required, and he's had a great game so far. And the fact it's Dust2 next, by the way, makes me even more scared of it, because that's the map he's typically insane on.
I do agree. That's a sick shot from Serald. I love that. He walked out of the Molotov, but not so far out of it that he just, you know, straight ran into the entire T-Force coming through. That's really cool, actually. Bimaster will still take down Bartak at the bottom of the score. Right to the smoke as Gizmi goes down. A 1 versus 2 for score here. Honestly, given the kind of weapon they have for the Huns here, this is such a better defense than I was expecting. And again, it's partly due to Serald kind of slowing them down and finding that early Deagle kill. So this is definitely a more respectable defense, no question about it. Still very hard for score to do anything in this one, so they can't get it over the line. But if they had a bunch of rounds like these where, you know, oh, it's a force buy with pistols, but they make it very close, that would be even in itself a reason to say, okay, well, wait a minute, when they get rifles, maybe it's going to be more interesting. But that actually might have been one of the, you know, the more interesting rounds. And again, like, it's with limited weapons, unfortunately, they couldn't get it over the line here. But nice shot from Serald.
A question for you, Anders, and I don't think this is necessarily a knee-jerk reaction, but assuming that the Huns lose this 2-0 and both maps are fairly one-sided, as I think we're probably expecting here, do you think the Huns need to make changes? They're not going to be the major, so if they want any chance of, you know, getting anywhere in Singapore, for example, do you think changes are required?
It has to be a yes for me. I just don't even know what the plan is. But yeah, look at how quickly we're not even into this round. It's already fallen apart. Yeah, I don't know how you could ever argue anything differently. Like, it's not even about, like, it's just about the look and the feel of it. They look, it's a very, very uninspiring what they're bringing to it. In every single moment. So it doesn't seem like there's any real chemistry that's working on the team either. Yeah, I can't imagine that they couldn't do better than this. Find some new younger talent potentially, or you know, or just, you know, keep some of the core and keep it going. But definitely it feels like it's got to be time for a change here. And why not now? Serald and 9 are left. Oh, and it's a kill. Gizmi. He goes down. We'll give over the rifle to the other side. But he's also fairly tagged up, and bomb is planted here. It's going to be such a one-sided game. I mean, it has been all throughout Serald here. He just doesn't have the health for it. Might have picked up the rifles. Not going to help him. Rainwaker almost pre-firing that one. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. A 13-2 victory here as Monte pick up the map that was picked by the Huns. So their opponent's map pick going their way. Pretty good stuff. And just could see kind of almost a non-reaction out of the Huns. Just cool to see a couple of people who can step it up. So let's get into it.
Yeah, it would be genuinely sad from a neutral's perspective if the Huns went out with the whimper and essentially the only win they got was against Fisher College, who were by far the lowest seeding team in this entire tournament. Because, like, honestly, from what we've seen, I don't think this is even an unfair statement to make, other than Fisher College, who are quite literally a collegiate team, the first ever in history to make a tournament like this. The Huns have been the worst team at this event by quite a considerable margin. So let's see if they can fight back for themselves. They're on the CT side, and they have 3 Julies.
That is kind of awesome. So 8 pistols in total. I promised I wouldn't do any math, but even I can add those numbers together. It's pretty good work for me, if I have to say. 9's going to pick up the early one with a flash from controls. What a sick setup. I love that. And I like even more the fact that they're backing out of there as quick as they can. They've left score down in towards the lower dark position, but that's really nice. Really good work from the Huns here so far. 9 going to be backing off again. That's kind of what you could do. Keep on walking it back, walking it back. Rainwaker will find score, but you could see that there was a chance there for score to maybe find a kill towards that catwalk position. Now they're going to be smoking off CT spawn. And let's see what they actually go with it here, Monte. They still have plenty of time to make up their minds, but they don't have a lot of utility. So once they use that smoke, you kind of want to do something with it. Bartek's now on a flanking mission. Look at the damage that he's managed to do. They are really stuck here in the middle. Monte, I think, for once, are the ones who look like they don't quite have a plan here. 9 with a couple of kills. Bartek gets a headshot. And now Rainwaker in a 1 versus 3 that he should lose every single time. He's on for the ace if he can get it, but it's going to be very tough.
He does have a bit of time left on the clock. No control of the bomb. He has picked it up now, though. So with that smoke, it could have done more harm than good in some ways. It didn't really give them a clear passage to know exactly where he went. So now he's moving into this B site. Probably dies at this kind of a range regardless to the USP. But if he was able to land this headshot, there is a way forward, and this should never have got even close. Zerol is going to put a bit of sanity back on the server, and I do love that from the Huns. Like, look, if your teamwork is not there, if you're not feeling 100% like cohesive and like a single unit, then make it scrappy as possible. Just go crazy, do these audacious pushes, like, just try and take Monte out of their comfort zone.
I would definitely prefer that as well. And maybe even for their own sake, you know, if they're playing... If part of the problem here is that they're trying to play to this structure that isn't working, then just try to play at least Counter-Strike that's fun for you to play. Even if it doesn't look like, you know, the most structured thing in the world. Just, yeah, get in there. You're playing Dust2 as well, which is about that lends itself more, I would say, to that kind of style. So let's see if they can keep it going, though. Well done, Huns, winning the pistol round. I do appreciate that. And even denying the bomb plant, right? So Monte are going to have to sit this one out a little bit longer. Bartek still with the dualies. And they've got the MP9 and the MP7. So kind of a big bonus situation, which is fine for now. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out when they go into the next round and Monte are going to have the rifles out. How will they kind of, you know, roll the bonus forward, if at all possible? But yeah, we'll get to that when we get there. Rainwaker gets 1 shot with the deagle. Hopefully not more than that.
It's behind them with their MP7, just tapping. Should be good for the final kill onto Gizmi as well. So this is much more like it. I do feel like starting CT side is a massive boon to the Huns, though, because their T sides have been nothing short of atrocious. So starting CT side, allowing yourself to play aggressive if you need to on a map like Dust2, but also sit back and allow them to move into you, I think is going to be very much a big bonus in terms of their confidence levels. 9 does have an early AWP as well, so that's going to be interesting to see how he uses it. Going to peek in mid straight away. There is no AWP for the Monte team, so doesn't have to worry about Afro taking his head off just yet.
Yeah, that's a bit of a luxury early on here. The SMGs, which makes a lot of sense. Nice move from 9. And a bit surprising, perhaps, to see Monte not do more work to either throw that smoke, I suppose, or just flash your way in. Very uncommon that you're going to be seeing people just peek that with no utility being thrown on the T side. So if we're handing out criticism, maybe we could do a little bit on the Monte side for once. Score is going to be going down, though. It's a nice find with the AK on Afro, which does bring it back into a 4 versus 4.
It does. Ooh, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but the smoke's bounced off 9's head. I don't know if it actually makes that much of a difference. Well-placed incendiary as well. It's going to keep Gizmi at arm's reach. And now going to be looking to try and push behind that, getting aggressive. Takes control as he was fully flashed, covering his eyes. And now Gizmi knows there's a second player here. He did see him, so he's on the hunt. BMAS takes that kill away from him, but it doesn't matter. It's such a clean hit onto the A site. And the Huns, they can only save at this stage. A real nice change of pace from Monte.
Yeah, and you could see the commitment to that fight. Like you pointed out, they were hunting him down towards that goose position towards the end. But even then, you know, Gizmi, I think, is jumping up on the box, even standing in the fire. Like, they're so committed to clearing out the entire bomb site. And I think even that is, you know, that's something that the Huns could kind of take a page out of that book when they get to the T side themselves. Sometimes committing to a plan and just following through, it has like a power on its own. Even if there could, maybe there's a better plan out there somewhere if you spend more time thinking, but I think it's an underrated feature sometimes. Okay, well, this is the plan. Even if there's a better one, we're picking this one, and let's just go for it and go all in. And I really appreciate that. So good work for Monte to bring it back as early as they could here with the rifles.
Yeah, any confidence or any stability that the Huns were feeling is short-lived. Now they have to buy around those 2 save weapons. They're going to have enough finances. They've got 3.9k on 9 and 4.3 on Zeralt, so they can drop no problems here. But it's all about how are they going to try and stave off another aggressive hit. It is, time after time, a play that we've seen Monte love to go back to is these catwalk hits. Typically as well, another little subdivision of that will be that they'll flash and allow Gizmi to actually drop into CT spawn as well through smokes. They do love that waterfall play, so definitely something to watch out for. If the Huns aren't up to the task, they could get punished from that multiple times. So we'll see. Interesting angle here. It's almost like you're in jail.
The Huns, they're in Counter-Strike jail. If they keep playing bad Counter-Strike, then we're going to have to put them in there somehow. Bimas, that's a very nice incendiary to go out there, and proven by the fact that Score not only gets the kill on Bimas, but he gets the incendiary takedown of Azu. So pretty good work. Rainwaker, though, he's going to find the kill on the Serald. You've got a question. Why is Serald interested in peeking that angle? It puts his AWPer here in 9 in a very tough position. Smoke going up. He does get the kill. And that might slow things down again, but those are small decisions there for Serald in that moment that could absolutely cost you a round. And if not for the fact that that 9 had picked up that kill, I think they lose the B bomb side very quickly afterwards.
Oh, Score's timing is brutal. There's not so much left on the clock as well, over a minute. So they don't have to do anything here at this point. Like, Monte can take their sweet time, try and play some mind games, but they decide they're going to strike while the iron is hot. And this spray from Gizmi gets the better of Bartak. Sure, he's down to 3. But now 9 has to try and get a pick on the cross. They have no smoke to utilize here to try and get the cross, so that could be a problem. But 9 thinks twice of it. Thinks better of that decision and goes up to catwalk. That allows the cross to come into play.
Yeah, that's a good point. They really didn't have a chance otherwise to get over. Oh, nice shot. The reposition works out in a bit of an unintended way, I think. But very well done. Shuts down Afro. He was diving with the bomb to try and put it down. And they say she could kill Gizmi outright. So let's see. He's waiting for the bomb plant right now, which is exactly what he should be doing. Just wait until you hear the first beep there. Doesn't do it the first time. I think it's been faked out once already from Gizmi. Now he's going to go for it. Oh, let's see that grenade bounce off the corner. That's the way to do it here. Throws it out. Gizmi forced into the fight. Oh, and a headshot. Sick round coming out from 9. I love it.
Yeah, that is confirmed damage as well, because Gizmi was the player that took down Bartak on long, and he took a dink for his troubles with the M4. So that's why the grenade, that's why the USP were pulled out, as opposed to trying to land the AWP shot. Good communications in the heat of battle, and it will yield Huns a 3rd round. And as he said, like, that decision that he ends up making to go up on catwalk actually proves to be the difference maker, because they can toss the bomb across there for the long play, which they did, which would have neutralized him in CT, and the entire dynamic would have shifted. So well played in the end.
Oh, this, you know, individual rounds like this, I feel like we've seen almost none of them from the Hun side of things. And again, it does go a long way, I think, to inspire the rest of the team. Like, it's the first time that we've seen one person on the Hun say, you know what, I'm going to take the fight to Monte, and we can win in terms of just fighting them straight up. I do like that. 3-1. And if it's early enough to put so much pressure on the Monte economy, and as a result, the T side, they've decided to go for what looks like a B pop here. Score in the back now doing the secondary AWPing. That's really cool. Does miss the second flick, but he's got Geralt with him, at least for a 1 kill. Missed opportunity. 9 gets 1, even though he's flashed. And more people showing up at the bomb site. They are going to lose 3 players, but they can keep both the AWPs alive here. And they win another round. 4-1 in favor of Huns. And no bomb plant and not enough money either for the Monte side. So it is a different kind of vibe early on. It's far from perfect, but they're winning rounds.
And the problem that this kind of raises as well, and you're kind of touching on it, is they're going to go for a half buy here. It's like, Afro is going to have like 7 or 8 rounds before he gets the AWP in play on T side. He's a phenom on this map with the AWP. So you're really like hamstringing yourself to try and keep making these rounds work. That is a potential big problem that could be coming up. The Huns, as you say though, they're going to maintain both those AWPs. Score did miss a couple of shots, but the utility was so on point, it didn't end up mattering. Well played, Smoke. And it looks like Monte is just going to run it back. Almost an identical round to the previous one.
I mean, if you get the right kill opening up, it's going to be just fine. Ooh, they're running in just as he was with his back turned, but I think again, Seralt being here with the rifle to help out. And this time, Score is going to hit quite a few shots, in fact, with the AWP. Only Seralt going down. And the Huns will keep it up. Monte, if they have some kind of intel or something to suggest that they're going to be able to kind of overwhelm this bomb site, it's not working out for them the way they're expecting right now. And I feel like if they want to do these kind of hits, I'm a bit confused about the fact that they don't throw the lurk smoke that you would normally see. That smoke that the T's throw in, it kind of extends the length of the tunnel. But the benefit of it is that you can run out at very many different angles out of the smoke. So even though you are technically forcing yourself to run through the smoke, it's so hard for the CT to stop you. But I feel like they're not really doing that at the moment. And there's not enough flashbangs either, or at least none that are really working against the Huns. So yeah, maybe some questions here for the Monte squad if they want to keep doing this. Score playing this position we saw 9 do earlier, and last time they didn't flash it out. This time they don't either, but Afro has finally got the orb out. So he's going to get the kill on Score running away.
So often we've seen, oh, the freebie. Do they anticipate a second player? Surely not. Yeah, Bartak's going to get that free kill of his own. Molotov out though. Meanwhile, Seralt on the left side gets the better of Rainwaker. It's a scrappy fight. Gives me down at 4, but will even the odds at 2-play-2. Smoke up and over, but they do have the angle here covered from the AWP. There's a flash. It's a good one at that, and it forces 9 away, so they can at least close the gap a little bit. But still, the fact that Gizmi is low HP, that's a concern.
Yeah, that will make it a little bit more tricky. We saw that in the last 1v2, actually, where, you know, the low health at the end kind of became a problem. 9, I like this position. Afro trying to jump up, hoping that he was going to have it covered, but isn't. And Gizmi now once again left. They've got 2 HEs. I won't say it's impossible to win this, but it's very unlikely you can make anything happen. He's got the AK, so we're talking about the cleanest of headshots if he's even going to get a chance to do this one. 9 peeking him out. They seem to know, and jumping down suggests that he's not quite aware where that second player is, so he's going to get shot in the back any second now. Well done. Huns keep it going. Such a different feel. 6-1. And at this stage, I would say, because I'm going to be honest, in spite of the fact that it's 6-1, I don't trust the Huns to keep up this level. So I would say, you know, really, you've got to make this, you know, happen while you can. Strike while the iron's hot and all of that stuff. Is get as many rounds as you can before Monte wake up in this game.
Right, especially as their T-sides have been so bad that you have to assume that the Huns are going to slow down when the roles are reversed. And Monte will really start to deliver a lot more. I have to say, though, I am surprised that the Huns have been utilizing double ops, not into this round. They decided to go back to more of a default collective. But they were running double ops for 3 or 4 rounds there. And Monte didn't really change up their pace. They didn't really change anything up whatsoever. Typically, if you know scores on an AWP, like it stands to reason, 9's on 1 as well. And you play accordingly. You go for like mid to B hits. You try and really exploit like long control or maybe catwalk or just a straight up B rush. Like none of this waiting around. You just rush it straight away. And we know that Gizmi has that in his locker. In actual fact, early on in the tournament, we saw them go for a fast B hit and they got destroyed. We were both kind of scratching our heads a little bit against Magic, if you remember. So yeah, he can do that. That's the kind of play that you're looking to do when there's double ops against you. But yeah, it's been a bit of an odd one, hasn't it?
Rainwaker setting up the CT spawn smoke from all the way out here. Kind of cool. Nice little trick to be able to do. They are... Oh, he smokes the roof instead. That's, you know, wasn't near as cool as I was trying to make it out to be. 9 flashed, backing off. Doesn't quite get the flick. He doesn't have to commit his life to this, though. It's fine to just kind of keep playing the angles as much as you can. Very hard for Monte to do much in this round, unless you start giving over rifles. So I appreciate the fact that they're staying a little bit further back, although now they've lost Bartak as well. I don't know how Monte have got away with so much. Another killer. Score goes down. this is so silly for the Huns. They don't really have to go down like this. Gerald trying to peek the corner here. He's going to get Rainwaker. See if he can bring his team back into it. Good burst as he takes down Asuwu. And that will make it a 2 versus 1 now. 9 coming in late with the AWP and then the USP. So they do clean up the round, but they very nearly threw that away. And I don't think there was ever enough pressure on them that they had to lose the first 3 fights.
Yeah, I do agree. As long as 9 is alive on long, you don't really need to knock the door down immediately. Even allowing the plant to come through, you have the superior firepower, you have the superior utility as well, and additionally, the one spot that ended up kind of causing that post plant to crumble was Zeralt on Catwalk. As long as he's alive and 9 is alive, you control the peripheries, the extremities, and you can just slowly choke out the T's on the side that you know have Tech 9s and not really much else. But regardless, 7-1 the score. Afro, patiently waited for the second player, but doesn't hit the shot. Again, double ops in play for the Huns. Score has picked up the second one again.
What a change up from getting brutalized on the opening map of Nuke and now into being 7-1 up with Monte just not able to find the kind of openings that they are probably expecting here. I mean, a bit of a whiplash situation coming into the second map. I think for Monte as well. Gives me not spotting anyone there, but Controls is near enough by it that he could jump up and take that Catwalk control back really quickly. He's going to throw up a smoke instead. They are backing up to test this B bomb site once again. But 9 is back here, and he's really been the superstar for this team so far in the half. He's 11-2. But for once he's alone, he blows open the smoke and catches Bimat. If they'd actually pushed through, because they did have the lurk smoke this time, which is the smoke that I was requesting earlier, this time they did set it up to try and run through. But if they get caught nonetheless, Seralt's taking a kill against Gizmi, and it's a 3 versus 5 with about 40 seconds left here. Asu to go down next. 9 could do no wrong in this half. He's found another kill on top of the smoke, and they've just shut them out. Oh God, we said, you know, what if the Huns came back? You know, it's sort of more of a, you know, hard coping from a commentary point of view, but they actually have come back looking different, wild.
This is also one of those reasons why in the first day or two when we're casting Monte, we're throwing out some of those potential narratives of like, are these guys going to choke a little bit on a big tournament? Are they going to let the occasion get the better of them? And so far it has said no. This half though really does reek of some kind of like paralysis coming in. Multiple times we've seen them just about to pull the trigger on B and we're like, okay, here we go, and they stall it. You even said yourself, like, they walk out of smoke one by one, they get picked off, they run away. If they fully commit to that, there's no way that 9 can hold the line by himself. And this is multiple times now we've seen the same thing happen time after time, that they don't fully commit and they get punished for it. It needs to change.
I definitely agree with that. Missed shot for once from 9. It looked like a really awkward peek from Asu as well. I think 9 was probably confused by that. It's a point in time where we would have called that a Pasha peek, for those old enough to remember. Controls on the other side of the smoke here, and he's got Bartak near enough by. Grenade gonna go deep. Oh, they actually almost backed off into it, which is kind of interesting. But up long, Bimas looking to find an opening. He'll get one, and Control's going to get traded out. Even if he had got a kill there, for sure he would have been dead otherwise. So looking better this time. That B bomb site, it's been an occupation for Monte to try and get it, but it feels like the short A position is where they do the better work at the moment.
Yeah, B has been very choppy to say the least. This was way cleaner. But it was also like picking up the pace as well. Score may get the drop as the knife was pulled out, but PMAS spins around and puts him down. And I think another one of those reasons, additionally, as we saw in this round, Azubu got his first opening pick in this entire map. Until that point, he was 0-5. Now, the reason why I think that is pretty significant is Azubu is typically one of their best players on Dust2. We've seen this now multiple times over. It's like Azubu and Afro are the two guys. So if Azubu is struggling on T side, that is a pretty big, sharp tool that goes missing with it.
Yeah, I think that's worth highlighting. And it does feel like they've kind of stumbled into this game a little bit, Monte. Maybe too relaxed at the huge victories they were having on Nuke, or just not adjusting to kind of what's in front of them in time. Certainly a bit disappointing to see. Afro is expecting that they're going to blow open the smoke once again. That's kind of what he's waiting for. Maybe they'll do it themselves at one point, but so far unable to find anything through there. They'll recommit another smoke down the middle, and it's a bit of a default setup, really, so they're just doing all the basic work. Clearing out this one with a flash, even a Molotov on top, so yeah, nothing out of the ordinary so far for Monte.
Now, the reason I'm highlighting Azu, I'm going to get some stats to back up my statement there. Other than their loss against Falcons, which happened quite literally yesterday, they lost it 13-11. Before then, he had a 1.67 against Magic, 1.42 against Heroic, 1.43 against NIP, and a 1.54 against NIP on Dust2, and all of those were within the last week or 2 weeks. He's been on a heater on Dust2, individually speaking. So this is a massive drop-off for him. And considering he's typically one of the entry components on this map, it's not a coincidence that they're struggling.
That is definitely interesting, yeah. Well, maybe there's still time for him to make it back. He's looking for an opening here. A couple of kills towards the end, and we could make a big difference here. There's a massive gap between an 8-4 scoreline and a 10-2 score. Gets traded out. Asu did get his opening, so we'll credit him with that one. The bomb's going to be planted. There's a long flank from Rainwaker as well. So if they slow this down, the Huns, and they already are, I think Rainwaker's going to make sure that this round is never going to be possible. They did hear the footsteps, actually, but it was too late. Seralt's going to get one, and they are going to pull the plug on any kind of a retake here. Not going to be possible for the Huns. So a third round has been secured by Monte. Still very much on the low side. I mean, I won't rule out a comeback at this stage because my faith in the Huns is pretty limited, as you guys can probably tell. But it's a very good first half. You've got to give them credit for that.
It is, no doubt. Especially considering they got battered, I think it was 10-2 in the first half of Nuke, and then it ended up just being 13-2. So, I mean, if nothing else, I said, I hope they don't go out with a whimper. So far, they're not. And that is credit to them for being able to bounce back. 9 in particular has been very impressive with the AWP. Scores had some good rounds with that secondary AWP. But another reason why I don't think it's just like you have doubts about the Huns, it's also the fact that this is Monte's strongest map by a considerable margin, and their CT side is nothing short of just monstrous. So yeah, it feels like the Huns 8-4 would still be a good half, but that may not be good enough against how solid typically Monte are on their CT side.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you never know how many rounds you are going to need until you get to the second half. So you stack as many as you possibly can on top of it. 8-3 right now. We're going into the 12th round, the last of the half here. But a different feeling all of a sudden. Yeah, time to focus up. Get every last bit of focus out into this game, because suddenly you've got some opposition on the Hun side of things. Really one of the first times that I've seen them look like a team that's a little bit alive here, which is very good to see. Do have a bit of a timeout. I'm guessing some tech issue to be resolved. They do happen every once in a while. Do want to remind you guys that there's an A stream happening as well. So there, you know, you can watch both. I think MongolZ and Falcons are fighting over on that side. Later on today on this stream, we got PVISION playing G2. That should be, I think, an interesting game, an interesting test of PVISION, who have been in a very weird position throughout this tournament as well.
Yeah, and we had the, I guess, fortune or misfortune, depending on which way you look at it, of witnessing their Inferno performance earlier in the event, which was, you know, pretty woeful, to say the least. It was the B-hit simulator. We got more of that over and overpass yesterday between K27 and Magic. So I guess we'll see if Inferno even gets played, and if it does, if James has got some other ideas up his sleeve. But I have to also kind of echo that for G2. I actually had G2, and I guess we'll talk about this more a bit later on when we do cast that game, but I had G2 as a bit of a dark horse pick to win this event. And they have also looked pretty bad. I've got to be honest. Like, I've been very underwhelmed with some of their performances. So
a couple of teams potentially there. I mean, maybe that turns it into a really interesting match if both are trying to solve problems. We've seen some interesting footage of of Dastan kind of. I think Blair treated out like a death stare kind of comment with Dastan, who's looking over the team after one of those games, and he did look very upset at the overall sort of performance. I think for good reason too. So I'm really curious about that game, but Yeah, we're waiting for the last round here. No one's taking their headsets off yet, so that's always a good thing. But if you are just joining us since we started here, welcome to the stream. Still keeping my eye on the chat at the cost of my own mental health. Somebody said, maybe you can help me out with this. Somebody said, Misfortune, are we watching League of Legends, Omega LOL? Now, I don't know anything about League of Legends, Vince. What you talking about?
Yeah, Misfortune's a character in League of Legends. She's an ADC, typically.
There's no way. There's no way they made a character called
did.
Misfortune.
They did. Yep, she's an older character as well. She's been around forever.
That's the kind of name that, like, I would come up with and then discard it myself for being like, it's like, I'm not going to say that out loud, you know? Fair enough. They've got away with one there.
I mean,
Here we go.
To be fair, Deadlock does have a character just called the Doorman. But I guess it's less cringe.
Why do you have to ruin the mood by mentioning Doorman?
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome.
That's the worst thing you could have done. Oh, here we go. We are back into it. And 9. Somebody said he's having a life game. That is definitely looking like it at the moment. 14-4. His team needed somebody like this. They have looked like one of the most uninspiring teams in the tournament, but he's taken it on himself to really step it up. And him and Seralt over at the B-bomb side have both been playing very well, so you have to respect that. Controls will take down Asubu, and it is a 4 versus 3 here. Asubu going to be ending the half with 4 kills. Afro ending it with 3, and Gizmi, he can still improve his score, but he's on 3 kills as well. Rainwaker, he's trying to do something here, a Bulgarian style. And Gizmi climbing his way to 4. Now, a lot of problems here for 9. He's trapped between a rock and a hard place. He knows they're going to be coming short. He has to find a way out somehow. I'm actually surprised that he's been allowed to live this long. I think they could have crunched him already, and Rainwaker will find the following headshot there. So Seralt in a bit of a retake position.
Oh, 9 was pissed as well. You saw his reaction. He knows how important his death is. He knows letting the door just get slightly ajar for Monte on the second half is potentially a bad omen. Zeralt caught by Gizmi. You said he can improve his scoreline. He certainly did. 2 massive kills to seal off the half. And what's really surprising to me, like we already spoke about Zuru, I put some stats into play as well. The fact that, as you highlighted, Afro finishes with 3 kills. I cannot remember the last time he has been so absent on the T side of Dust2. He is normally leading the charge. Sure, some of the elements we did discuss, them going for these constant half-buy, force buys, meant he didn't get an AWP until like round 5 or 6. But I don't think that necessarily paints the full picture. Like, he wasn't doing much with the rifle either.
Yeah, but I am glad you brought that up early in the game, though. I think it's one of those things that, you know, like you send out like the early warning signal that, hey, wait a minute, like doing all these force ups and kind of, you know, crumbling in some of these early rounds, it has other side effects than just, you know, losing the rounds. And one of them, I think, definitely being the fact that they didn't get the AWP out quick enough, unfortunately. So would love to see more. I mean, you're right, even with the rifle, you want to see him do some more stuff, but yeah, what a weird first half in general. Monte seemed very committed to going for the B-bomb side, and it didn't really work out.
It didn't. We'll see. I mean, the first pistol, they just basically threw like some kind of trap card with just pure chaos with those 3 sets of Julies, those 8 pistols as you called it. Let's see how chaotic they're going to make this T-sided pistol, because if they concede this, I will start to get a little bit worried. Afro going to be utilizing that Xbox smoke to go for that peek, knowing that he is cleared from lower tunnels. They are pushing up close, though. Another flashbang out, and although he gets one, he gets traded instantly.
Still pretty nice trick there, flashing his way over. Not enough to fall back around the corner, but I don't hate it. We've got still plenty of time, and the rest of the Huns now making their way out long. They do not have a smoke for the cross. That seems like a very standard thing to have. They're going to be walking all the way up here. Straight contact. Asubu trying to backpedal around the corner. And now they should know Monte. They have a bit of a read at the moment. There's nobody in the middle. They haven't heard anything at B at all. The flash sent out to try and see if they can make their way across, but they're getting picked off. I mean, it's a great lesson in why we normally buy those smokes. It's exactly to avoid this kind of scenario. Huns taking so much damage, even getting up on the bomb side. They are going for the bomb plant, so at least they're going to get that done. And that is kind of half the battle in some sense. 4 bullets left for a Bartek that hasn't had a chance to reload. What? The last bullet, as he does pick up the kill. If he would have had another one, I think Asuwu's probably going to be dead too. Look at the health that he had left. What a wild choice for Bartek, who ends on a quad kill and very near could have had the ace if he just had another bullet.
Oh, it looks so sick as well. The way he shot the last bullet while the magazine comes out the gun, it's like pure style points, but as you say, just ran out of bullets when it really counted. Really great effort, though, from him. And could you imagine if he pulled that one off? I mean, that would have put the Huns on like a fast track to so much elation. The hype would have been at a fever pitch, but instead they have to just face the reality. They lost the round. They have some options. I am surprised that 9 has not gone for a scout. How often do you see like a post plant into no scout on the T side? He goes for a deagle instead.
Oh, that is an interesting way to end the round, but I've got to be honest here, for Monte, it's easily a way back in. I think, like you said, if the Huns had won that round, I would have started to get nervous too. I would have said, you know what, maybe Monte will end up losing the map, which otherwise, you know, if you'd asked me before we got started on Dust2, I said that's never going to happen. Never in a million years. But if they would have won the pistol here, I think there's an increased opportunity for them. Now they have to take the long way around and prove to us that they can play well on the T side. Let's see how this one plays out. Asuwu, we want him back in action. It's Bartek. Let's go. Getting another kill is 9. Headshot onto Asuwu. A 5 versus 3 as they just kind of get wrecked at this A bomb site. And down the middle, Bimas, the third man to fall. Is there going to be any answer here for Monte? You can see Gizmi bursting away forever trying to find that kill, but Rainwaker is the only one to pick up a kill, and he is going to be locked inside of the CT spawn position. Trying to get out of there. 9 shoots him through the door. What the hell is happening?
I'm pretty sure Gizmi and the rest of Monte are asking the same question. And what's happened to Afro? I mentioned before about Asuwu's stats. When you look at Afro's stats on Dust2, it's even more impressive. Like, you would have to go back like 10 maps since the last time he dropped a red rating. And that includes their loss yesterday against the Falcons. He was 1.05. He's had a 2.04 against IP, a 1.64 against Na'Vi, where they beat them 13-4. But here he's a non-factor, 4-12. And again, because they get broken so early, this means it's going to be a while before he gets an open his hands.
It's such a wild turn of events. Why did 9 shoot him through the door with that? Like, that's such an unlikely wallbang to hit. It just suddenly feels like the Huns are just a different team. If they'd started the tournament playing like this and landing shots like these and with 9 opening at this fashion, just imagine how much more interesting this whole affair could have been for them. I guess we always like to say, you know, never, better late than never and everything, but it does feel like this is as late as you could possibly push it in a tournament to try to have something like a resurrection of the team. Maybe we will get there. Round number 15. Monte, yes, they win the pistol, but they are immediately back and slapped in the face by the Huns, who buy in the second round and win that round. There's nobody defending B either. Asuwu, you had to get a very fast headshot and a kill there, otherwise this B bomb site's going to be gone. Serral finds one with the M4, one with the grenades, and he's going to keep going. Triple as the backup is getting, and it's going to be absolutely fine here. 10 rounds for the Huns. I can't really understand what I'm seeing, Vince. You know, yeah, I don't know how to make it make sense for me.
It doesn't really. It's like the curtain was coming down, and then it just got blocked by their foot. And it's like, okay, maybe there is some life left in them just yet. I'm just amazed it's happening on Dust2, and that Monte are looking just shell-shocked, ultimately. Afro is being hunted. They seem to have a good read of where he is, and he's just the dead man. They go for the knife. Oh, no. Okay. I was like, I thought they were going to bait him from long with some shots, and then Zeralt was going to drop down and shank him. I think the fact that Zeralt's on 26 health is the reason he didn't go for it. Either way, 10-5 to score, and that was a force buy, so Monte have nothing to speak of in this round.
Yeah, it's such a wild experience, it really is. But and maybe, you know, we've been criticizing the Huns so much. Maybe a criticism here for Monte should be when you win that first map so hard, and then you're going to play one of your best maps, or maybe your absolute best map on Dust2. Like there's gotta be more. There's gotta be like more confidence. There's gotta be more of a sense of you know, I guess like an instinct to win and close it out. Because here's another problem though. If this goes a third map, which now all of a sudden looks likely, how is the mood going to be in the Monte camp? They're going to be so confused. Like, shell-shocked, yes, but once you get the break between the maps, which is going to be about like 10, 15 minutes, you come back, it's such an empty feeling saying, what the hell just happened? Like, we're playing a team that's playing at an all-time low, and we completely smacked them on their own map pick, and now we just disappear from the game is what it seems like.
So it is a really interesting point to highlight, and how does the coach, how do the players kind of try and get their head together? How does Gizmi try and lead the troops out of what will be a very tilting and confusing and just a dazing experience? Yeah, I can't really add too much to that. It is fascinating, but I suppose you could say that's what the Huns were in. They got smashed 13-2. Whatever 9, whatever the coach has said to these guys is certainly live in their spirits. I would love to hear what the kind of rallying cry was, or whatever was said to the players, because this is a completely different looking Huns to any Huns team that we've seen throughout the duration of this event. Even when they beat Fisher College, they weren't landing shots like this. They weren't playing this way.
They really weren't. Yeah, that is a little bit awkward, but at the end of the day, they're going to be just fine. 9 with 17 and 8. Zeralt now 16 and 6, and Score with 14 kills. Very interesting turn of events. Well, guess we counted them out too soon, which I don't mind admitting. Like, I 100% commit to the idea that going into this second map, I had already counted out the Huns, which, again, you know, I always like to throw in that, like, I'd love to be wrong, but that's really just me saying, I don't think I'm going to be wrong. But it is really cool to see the Huns turn this around. It's so unexpected. I keep bringing it up just to say that it was looking so dire for them, and it is really interesting to see that they've managed to do this. So, more of this, please. Afro is still missing from the game. Asuwu, you could say the same. Gizmi will give him a little bit more leeway. He's also doing IGLing, and if nothing else, we're looking for Afro and Asuwu before we start criticizing Gizmi for this. They're going to have a buy in this round, Vince. Surely, if there's any chance to turn it around, it's right now.
No up, though, for Afro again. The money's been so poor. All he can get is an A1S. And 9 does have the AWP, so he has that advantage. And Afro loves to play aggressive through on middle, but also these catwalk plays. We see it very often from him. The catwalk peek into a kill. They run a second player down into lower tunnels. So this is giving a lot of map control early on to the Huns, where Monte don't feel like they have any potential opportunity to take this for themselves. Additionally, you're leaving Rainwaker onto the site alone. It does have a Molotov and a smoke, but it's susceptible to being charged down, and they're going to go for this B-Rap. The flashbang's not ideal. It is going to be forced back, but they still got tons of time on the clock. Like, they can just run it again if they want to.
Yeah, that's the benefit. There's so much utility. There's nothing wrong with them doing it one more time. Rainwaker has got one incendiary. That's a good grenade to have to try and stop any kind of an upper push, but the difficult thing is finding the timing for it, though. Very often you're not going to be knowing exactly when to throw it down. In fact, they're going to be doubling them in middle. I don't hate this, but we'll see if they can find the right time for the crunch. Smoke goes up, flash going pretty deep, but there's 2 people waiting here. Still not bad necessarily for Bartek. He finds the kill, and it opens up for the rest of the team to try and walk onto the B-bomb site. Controls, gets the shot onto Rainwaker and Gizmi. He knows there's somebody there, but he can't really punish them easily. An exchange of grenades, the bomb is going to be planted, and I think Monte, they have to fight for overtime to save the rifles and walk away. That's such a disappointing choice to have to make when, again, this is a map you're supposed to be rock solid on, but great call for the Huns, right? Even Bartek in that middle, that one kill is setting up the rest of the team quite nicely.
It is, but I think Rainwaker is going to be bitterly disappointed because he had a really good first map. He's going to be disappointed he didn't do better on the approach. He actually had like a prolonged skirmish fight with the first player that came through, which I think may have been Controllers, and he ends up going out second best in that. Actually whiffs out in the spray and dies. If he can hold that kill, I think they can get back into the round there and the map overall. But again, Afro has had an AWP precisely 0 times on this CT side, and he will not be able to get one in this round either. They still do not have the cash to afford him the sniper on Dust2. This is getting absurd.
Yeah, it's hard to make sense of the concept of not getting a sniper on your sniper player, you know? There's something about that that's a bit confusing. Like, you don't enter a Formula 1 race, you know, in a Prius or something. Like, it's just, you know, there's a reason we have the equipment and the roles to go with it. But that just hasn't been the case for Monte, unfortunately. Yeah, 12-5. I myself shell-shocked at what's happening. I'll see if Monte can flip the switch themselves. Overtime is 7 rounds away, and they haven't really had any real strong footing on this. Bimas and Rainwaker are doing the best that they can at the moment, but without the rest of the squad here, I don't think it'll make a difference. Bit of a mistake from Controls. Gives up his position with the audio, and Gizmi takes him down. A little bit of aggression from the CT side, but now that they got the kills, you want to see them fall back, right? They're 5-on-3. You don't have to fight any longer, but good job.
Yeah, exactly. Take your advantages, cut your, I was going to say losses, but your wins, and then essentially put down the Huns. And if you can, there is an AWP there available for you to take as a reward, assuming that you have enough players to juggle these weapons. You've got to keep all 5 alive, though. This is the big picture. This is going to be a marathon on the way back, not a sprint. As it's a bit of a delayed kill onto Afro. Molotov finishes him off. He did get the 1 kill on Zeralt beforehand. They're able to cross. Score is low, but 9's still in the fight with 17 kills. He's had a great dust too, and maybe he can still put down some bodies as Gizmi's on the receiving end of the AWP.
We've got 20 seconds left. It's not out of the question. Rainwaker is going to go down. The Huns with a huge deficit, a 5 versus 3. It should be impossible to do anything more than this. But 9 has got 10 seconds. He might have to find the kills rather than find the bomb plant here, but now they're backing on out of there, and I don't think he has any more time left. So, unfortunately, not given the opportunity. He's going to save the AWP, though. And even in a round like this one, like, if you're going to start a comeback, if you had got those kills in the middle and then, you know, you walk out of there with 4 or 5 people alive, you might feel like, okay, that's a pretty cool round. Like, we kind of smacked them, and that's fine. This is a round where you think, damn, we barely made it through in spite of getting a double opening.
And if they barely make it through, it means that they're going to have a really weird buy coming into this round as well. Even if they can fully afford the weapons, there's going to be some missing grenades. I don't think they can afford an AWP other than Afro going for a glass cannon, because he's on 4,900 coming into this round. So he has gone for a glass cannon AWP. So it's not just the fact that 9 survives, it's the fact he also denies the AWP from trading hands. Like I was talking there going into that 5v3, 5v2, like, cool, you got the kills you're looking for, you can take everyone down, there's a reward of an AWP for you. Well, there isn't. 9 denies it completely. So you're in still really grim situation here. Afro's got an AWP, but can he do anything with it? Because so far, the answer has been a resounding no.
What a match it's been. Thought at this point it would be all over already, but Monte needs 6 more rounds. They've got one of them out of the way, and now they're going to be trying to take some long control here. Huns, good flashes going over, even another one for Controls to kind of keep it running. That smoke, though, is going to slow them down, but I do like the attempt. You get the long spawn. It's worth trying. They have such a big buffer of rounds that they might as well. Asubu's going to get one. Good read. They can trade this one out every time. Double kill for Asubu at the beginning. So 5 versus 3 once again. Asubu starting to look a little bit more awake in the game, and that's a good thing for Monte's prospects of a bigger comeback here. Don't know how the Huns, again, get back into this round. If Bimas is going to stay by the truck there, actually, that gives them at least an opportunity, but they re-smoke it here. Yeah, attempted back wall bang. He's just missed on both sides as well. That's a scary sound.
You do have 2 Molotovs, though, so once that smoke is cleared, they're probably going to toss one of those onto car just to make sure. There's another smoke. They're wasting so much time. Well played by Monte. It's been a pretty tragic Dust2 so far. Take nothing away from Huns. They've played to a way higher level than I think either of us expected. But Monte's starting to show some of their Dust2 prowess here. Once that smoke clears, there is still going to be another 30 or so seconds. But they're lining up the utility. Smoke tossed in. BMAS unaffected by the car.
Yeah, he's going to stand right up. The flash is there. He can't find the spray down. They were turned away from the flash as well, and they hadn't actually managed to check him either. Control's going to be going down. This round is still fine, right? There's only 13 seconds here in a 2-on-4, so if ever the term unwinnable meant anything, it's going to be for a round like this one. But again, there are so many shaky, individual moments. And Bimaz has been playing well. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's up to 17 kills. But again, you hate to see those small moments of doubt flicker through the Monte individuals. They're up to 7 though. So now we're looking at 5 more rounds for them to get that OT on board. Which again, it could definitely happen, especially now that it feels like they got more of the roster contributing to the game, which I guess is good.
Yes, Afro has the AWP. He's now got full Kevlar. BMAS, as you said, has had a pretty solid game throughout. It's been really the only shining light. Rainmaker's had a couple of moments. Grenade, masks, the cover. So 9, I don't know if he actually saw any of those players. It's going to stand to reason that he knows at least obviously 1 or 2 have crossed. He realizes it's 3 though, because that does make a difference. Afro, in the meanwhile, though, puts down controllers. As I think they were trying to blow open the smoke. They're going to go for it again here. As he peeks in. What a flick that is from Afro. Beautiful. We've had to wait a good 20 rounds to get to this point. But finally, that's what he has in store.
Yeah, it's going to be worth waiting for if we can finally get some glimpse of what Afro can actually do on a map like this one. Double kill to begin with here. 5 versus 3. The Huns so close to the finish line, at least on map number 2. If they crumble now, I suppose it would be sort of the ultimately sour way of losing a series is, you kind of get blown out of the first one, but then you have an amazing comeback, but you can't quite make it. Like, you can't get it over the line. That must be one of the worst feelings. So that's kind of another thing that's in store for the Huns, right? If they can't complete this, even going into OT, you've got to assume that all the momentum will be with Monte if we get there. Here we go. 28 seconds. Gizmi in the smoke, charging out as they're trying to plant the bomb. Nobody is covering it. Serral's on the other side of the smoke. That's a wild play from Gizmi, and it's going to pick up the round there for them. Afro gets the last one, but unfortunately, just that play was dead on perfect. He came out of the smoke at the perfect angle, couldn't be spotted. Very nicely done.
What was the question, Anders? Oh, both of them were stick flicks. Didn't see the first one. The second one was insane. But yeah, you posed the question, if we do get to OT, then surely Monte will be in the ascendancy. They'll be in the driver's seat. The question is whether they can get there or not. And off the basis of that last round, I've got more faith. It's good protocols. Vibes looking good. Vibes sounding good. You can hear Afro there getting piped up as well. He's getting into the right frame of mind after a very slow start into this one. Had, what was it, 4 and 11, I think, at one point. He's up to 9 and 15 now.
Yeah, it's starting to sound off a little bit. I do like that. You do need the full team here to get them fired up. 4 more rounds. At one point it was 7. So the time is running out for the Huns. They have money still. The loss bonus is going to start to kick in quite a bit, especially if they can get more bomb plants through. Serral's trying to push aggressively up there. I like that idea. Sometimes you can hit this catwalk position so fast that the CTs are not going to be ready, and that was nearly the case here. But out on long, Bimaz is stopping the other side, and he's almost taken down Score. That was the early burst that he had with the smoke. So in spite of the fact that I think this catwalk push is actually successful, even if they haven't got a kill. But it needed the long component. The other pincer of that movement there had to be in play, and unfortunately, they just got shot down by Bimaz.
Oh, Serral misses his chance as well. Wasn't an easy one. A weakened score finalized, and will it be a clean sweep as controllers is stuck between multiple CTs? They line up for him though, and he takes down 2. He's down to 19 HP. but he's also securing his team less AK staff to contend with going into the next round. So he's already done a good job. Will there be any more casualties? What a one-tap onto a Zulu. Surely he can't win this round. Monte, this would be a disgusting way to lose.
Yes, 30 seconds. He's low on health already, and there we go. Rainwaker shooting him in the back. I mean, it's not the most gentlemanly way to do it, but it'll get the job done, and that's really all they care about right now. So 7-round gap has turned into just 3 now. Afro, I think, with a bit of a laugh as well. Like, it feels like, all things considered, the mood is all right in the Monte camp, which is interesting, because I feel like they should be way more stressed given what's going on here, but you did say, I think, at the end of the first half, right, their CT side is where they do a lot of their great work, and the Huns are feeling the pressure at the moment. The money's running out. They're not getting the bomb plants in here. So even the loss bonus is not going to carry them all the way through. Oh, this is very, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, they have a 62% win rate on their CT side, just under 50% on their team half. So it is a much more powerful half of CS. As Zulu, though, does trade back, makes amends for Afro's death. And although Gizmi was low on that drive-by with the Tech 9, he survives on 6.
So 2-for-1 trade, but yeah, Gizmi on low health. Bit interesting. Bartak, if you hit that first Deagle shot, you're alone with Gizmi on 6 health. That actually could have changed the round significantly. Don't want to see you necessarily fight the scout here. I appreciate the confidence in Bimas, but just try and reposition so that there are no easy pickups like that. And eventually the scout's going to fall back anyway. So 2 versus 4. I think 9 is hoping that there's going to be a peek in here, some sort of a mistake, so that they can pick up another rifle and hit the B bomb site. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case here. Asubu, he's only up to 9 kills, but it's a hell of a lot better than what we saw in the first half. And in terms of the clock in the round, 30 seconds left. And 9 starting to fade away. So is the Huns as a whole. 7 rounds just about to be turned into 2. As Monte have nearly closed the gap for that overtime position. There's Gizmi going down, but that was the easy part of it. Now the backups are going to start to get there. The rotations in Rainwake are going to be coming up through CT spawn, and yeah, I think they've run out of time, unfortunately. Incendiary, just to make it even worse. I mean, fair play. That was always going to be a very tough 2 versus 4, so I don't really blame the Huns for not being able to do that. But yeah, we're getting close now to OT.
Another 3K for BMAS. He's up to 23, having a hell of a game individually. Good to see. Yeah, you highlighted Zulu. He's only on the 9 kills, but he was 0 and 7 at one point. And as a man repping the UK, he was actually putting himself in contention for the next Bond. But he's okay now. He's back into this game. As are Monte, 10 to 12. Another full investment from the Huns. But they have ran into a bunch of problems these last 4 or 5 rounds. Monte on fire now, suggesting, well, signaling, I should say, that they are on 5 rounds on a row streak. Huns need to try and break that. If they do, they can still take this map in regulation. Take us to a 3rd. That's a big if, though.
It's a wicked kind of universe you've invoked by suggesting that Asubu could be the next James Bond. It's like,
yep,
Bond, but if he was into anime or something. it's the really weird crossover. That
James Bond. Woo-woo.
Yeah, exactly. Let's forget about that as quick as we possibly can. We got 2 rounds left in the comeback. Monte. More of them have woken up. They're starting to really get there. Bimas doing most of the heavy lifting again. We call him, you know, a young veteran because he had some really early stints in Tier 1 Counter-Strike and then been doing a lot of streaming different things. Now he's actually back playing, and this is one of the better performances we've seen from him in a minute. Trying to pull his team out of the gutter and back into the game. 30 seconds on the clock. They're relocating this. It's going to be another B-split coming out. And the question will be, can Asubu and Rainwaker hold this bomb site? Gizmi's in the middle. As long as he doesn't die right away, they can just focus on this. And that's a banging start. But Seralt, he gets 1 back. Gizmi's traded out. It's not so bad. And Asubu in the corner. 1 kill will do it. That's going to set up his team quite nicely. 13 seconds left as they try and make the cross here in the middle. Bartak's holding it. They come through the smoke. Nice shot from Afro, but he's still got Seralt to deal with. Pulls out the rifle instead, which is a reasonable choice. And let's see if he could do this. This one is going to be for the map as well. In the smoke, hiding from Serald. I love this. Such a hard play to be up against here for your Afro. Is he going to expect it? And does he have enough patience to wait for that smoke to fade? Pulls out the grenade and now goes back in through the double doors. He's traded places, and so far Serald has played it ice cold on the other side. Oh, he's checking everywhere. He's been completely done by Serald to win the map with that one-on-one. 13-10 is what they end up at here. The Huns with a massive comeback in the series.
It's a really good performance from the Huns after getting stuffed on Nuke. But I honestly thought that Monte had this in the bag. The way that they played those 5 rounds prior to the last one.
Time frame, and we're going to be looking at the other orb of 9 to see if he can get that into action on a similar level. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, that for me is actually the big question now. It's normally, I assume Afro's going to show up. And it's whether, you know, you have like a BMAS or a Rainwaker or someone else that's going to like step up with him. Now all eyes are on Afro because for his, I said before, like going into that game, you'd have to go back 10 or 15 maps. The last time he actually dropped a red rating below 1.0 on Dust2. That included 2.05 ratings or 1.6s. So that was a massive surprise to me. So we'll see if he can get it done here. They're going to be starting on the CT side. That could be a problem for the Huns because their T sides have continued to be a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, that's the next part of the recovery, isn't it? If they could start to make those work here. And a pistol round surely would be nice. The smoke bounces off towards the short side. Is that really meant to happen? I feel like that was going to be a window smoke. Afro gets the kill onto 9, but Bartak answering back, and the bomb plant is 100% going to be secured here. So whether or not the smoke was inadvertent or not, it's worked out fine for them. It is a 4-on-4. There is a smoke kit combination. My favorite thing on this map, as you know, Vince, because it means any round can be won as long as you've got those two tools ready and waiting. Afro's going to be going down, but Gizmi's making his way onto the site. Oh, he can't be stopped either. Su covering his IGL, and there we go. Smoke kit on top. I think they've already lost the round. There's nothing that Serald can do to get close here. Doesn't matter if he gets kills along the way. None of it is important. It's the fact that you can't cover that distance and find him in the smoke in time. So Monte will pick up the pistol.
He just had that nanosecond of indecision, and then it was a Zoo that took his head off. And if he gets that kill, and it looked like his crosshair was in good place to do that, then it would have been a 3v2 in favor of the Huns. Everything changes. It's this shot here. Yeah, Bartak had 2 players running towards him on triple box, and he had the perfect crosshair placement. What a shot from Azuu. So Monte strike first in the decider. And they'll have a point to prove as well, because even if you do beat the Huns, some people are going to be having question marks that you even lost Dust2 in the first place.
I think it's definitely true. Yeah, they're going to want to prove that, yeah, we were out of it a little bit there, but now we're right back into the mix. Rainwaker picked up the first kill there with the M4. They only have 1 SMG, so they don't want to have too much of a bonus situation going on either against the potential armor that's coming out in this one. But Rainwaker's gone down. The bomb is going to be planted. That HE, it should have maybe killed Serald right away, but eventually they will get him. And I think this round is still fairly easy for Monte to win. Just a question, I think, of how much damage they could potentially do to the CT side here. The Huns. Bomb plant's not bad either, but they're just so low on health already. A little bit of a sloppy work potentially coming into it now, but 9 on his own. And they actually can't do more than the 1 kill onto Rainwaker. Because I was going to say, if they get the bomb plant and get, you know, 3 kills in total in this round, that's still pretty respectable. Like, that's still an annoying round for Monte, but only 1 casualty.
Oh, that would be a W in my book for sure. Yeah, they'd be very happy.
Yeah.
Because it really does put a lot of pressure on Monte. And again, we've said one of the consistent themes about Dust2 on both sides, T and CT side, was how long it took Afro to get an AWP in his hands. By getting those kills consistently, you just extend that, delay it longer and longer. He's got it in round 3, and you're up against some rifles. So this is really the first time that we've had Afro since Nuke, which, by the way, he was just unbelievably good on as well. The first time since Dust2 where we've seen Afro with an AWP early on with a chance to have impact early doors on the map.
Third round. We've got 2 Galils, 1 AK, and 2 Deagles coming out here. So definitely a round to respect if you're on the Monte side of things. But that early AWP sounding off, they know that it's in play now. Bartak doesn't have to give his life for the information. I suppose you're kind of thankful that that's the case if you're going to be peeking into that AWP. coming out alive is not so bad. Bimas control in the middle. In fact, 3 of them are here. So going for sort of a mid-round retake of middle can be very powerful sometimes on the CT side to do this. They don't flash their way into it, but that is another way to do it. You can even throw those flashes from the B bomb side in case people don't know. You can throw them all the way over the wall. So I do like it. You know, sometimes on Inferno we talk about top banana retakes. I think of the mid retakes as a similar kind of you know, mechanism on a map like this one. I think it's quite worth doing.
We'll see how that develops as time goes on. I've just got this really horrible gut instinct that the Huns are going to show us a glimpse of brilliance, and we're going to begin to believe, and then this map is going to just be the same as what we've seen thus far on T-side. They're going to get like 2 or 3 rounds maximum, a ton of rifle rounds just when nothing happens. They've only got 3 kills so far. With 15 seconds to go, they've been spotted out in the open, and Gizmi will not give them a second chance of reprieve. BMAS very much the same, and Bartak's options are save the AK or go out into certain death. And he picks to try and hold on to the rifle. I say try because he nearly gets wallbanged down into his demise. But it is a 3-0, and it's another round you just sat there like waiting for something to happen from the Huns, and it never arrives.
Yes, that's the version of the Huns that we're trying to avoid at all costs, right? We don't want to see more of that. We want to see them make some of these decisions whenever they get an opening, and even if it's a small opening. I brought up this point earlier that sometimes committing to any plan is better than shifting around and waiting. Oh, maybe we're going to get one more opening. Maybe 10 seconds from now there'll be a better position, or let's be a little bit slower and see. Like, sometimes that's just not the way to go. This is it. Bartak has committed to running up the ramp. I like it. If he finds an opening, he could clear a bit of spot for his team. But the bomb is still back in T-spawn here, so they're not going to get a straight bomb plant, but they're out fighting for it, and let's see if they can do some damage. They're putting real pressure on Rainwaker. You can see he's very uncomfortable in this position. It will be Afro, though, to stop Bartak in his tracks, and Rainwaker goes down next, so they did slow down just a little bit, and it's a 3-on-5 here now.
Oh, nice shot from Score. Up close and takes down a Suo as well. M4 trades hands. Suddenly this round is on.
You're absolutely right. Afro shooting him in the back, but Score got another kill on Bimas. 2 versus 2. How did he get to this? Herald will take down Afro as he took the risk of jumping on top of that box. And Gizmi must be confused. Guys, we got 2 kills to begin with. It's a 5-on-3. And yes, we let slip of a Tech-9 that went in towards that window position. Oh, Gizmi's going to get the bomb here, though. That's unfortunate. Cyril going down, and then 9 has to backtrack and say, oh, we forgot something along the way. It even fell out on the other side. It didn't even just fall into the hallway. It goes all the way down into middle. That's a disastrous turn of events.
It's just the kind of fortune Monte needed after Score lit up the scoreboard with the double Tech-9 frag. Yeah, will be a lot of questions asked as 9 rolls the dice and it comes up Snake Eyes for him. Gizmi will be clutching with his 5-0, but there is going to be a question like, how is it possible Score can walk out a connector, shoot a player up on balcony, and no one is there watching Staircase Con? That's wild. Like, you've got to have that angle covered.
Yes, I think there's definitely ample criticism to be made of that, and unfortunately, those are the kind of slip-ups, again, just to project forward for Monte, right? If they can't fix those, it's going to be a problem later in the tournament. There's no question about it. So we need to see more rigid kind of a defense coming out here. The start is so good, in spite of, I think, the Huns applying a lot of pressure. And I guess the other side of the pressure, right, is the fact that they managed to get scored that deep in towards jungle, which, again, I prefer to see the Huns try more rounds like these, where they have a bit more force at the beginning of the rounds. I do like it, even if they ultimately end up losing it. Some early Molotovs are going down towards that top mid position, but it will be Score again. He's picked off Rainwaker coming down towards the bottom of the A ramp. Counter flash coming out from Afro. He wants to get a step closer. This is super dangerous. Let's see if he can do the silent drop. Score, if you know how to silent drop this corner, they might be possible. Bimaster's going to be going down, though. 9 finds another one, and it's a very good opening to the round here for the Huns.
It's a nice kill from Azuru. Needed that. Got it pretty clean as well. Molotov down on Con. It's going to stop any re-engage through underpass. Obviously, we have the benefit of seeing that won't be the case, as chair and top of middle are occupied, and then just outside of A, where Afro is playing alone with the AWP, but he's looking down in Con. He needs to actually kind of scamper back to the CT boxes. He's very susceptible to being peeked from Palace or from ramp once that smoke clears, and he's on the same page. So he's keeping himself alive. This does kind of forfeit site control, but it means that he can stay alive once the T start to push on.
35 seconds. It's still plenty of time, but if Afro starts to land kills, it could be pretty awkward here. Afro going for a bit of a peek. Normally, we see him holding those angles forever and ever, just waiting for an opportunity. But this time, he wanted to take a bit of a look. Didn't hit the shot, unfortunately. Double flash towards CT spawn. They need that bomb plant. Now we're running very low on time. 17 seconds here, but controls making sure that Gizmi can't interrupt the bomb plant. And I think for a Subu and Afro, with the money that's left on the team, if they save both these rifles, they're going to have a pretty reasonable buy in the next one. But if they die, there are going to be some concessions to be made, maybe most especially for Afro. So I would say it's better to save this. You're probably not going to get into a 2-on-4 victory here. So the Huns are on the scoreboard, and that's great news.
I'm not sure Controllers is going to let them both survive here, though. There's the first shot. Afro kind of has to commit to this one as well, and he goes down the same. You're saying some concessions may need to be made even with a save. Well, now it's definitely going to be the case. They can scrape together a buy. I mean, Gizmi's on 7k, so he drops for Afro.
Oh, yeah.
But there's definitely going to be a couple plays that are going to be struggling after this.
Yeah, the fact that Gizmi had that much extra cash definitely slipped my mind a little bit there. That's great news. That might actually get them into a slightly better position than I was expecting. So at least there is that going for them. That's good to see. And that's not always the case. Like, even if you're 4-0 up, it could still be a different scenario. He's got the MP9 Gizmi, so that's definitely one of the concessions. The rest is going to be the utility on Afro. They actually elect for the AWP. And I guess that shows you the thing that we've been talking about, how much they value that. Because I thought Gizmi was going to drop an M4 and then they'd all be fine. Afro, oh, you invest into that, that's what you want.
Exactly. That is precisely why you want to have him on his optimal weapon. You mentioned before, it's like joining a Formula 1 race with a Prius or something. You want to be putting your best players, your star players, in the spotlight as much as possible. And so Gizmi's choice is rewarded tenfold. But they need to capitalize on this. We've seen the Huns be multiple players down and somehow just find that perfect read, that timing. Think of Score's double kill with the Tech 9, for example. These little weaknesses. And Gizmi, though, is up close in the kitchen. It's not an easy angle to cover out here.
No, it definitely isn't. Especially because you don't want to give it away that you're walking this way. So if you flash a Molotov it, you're going to tell everyone on the CT side that you're taking up this position. Seralt trying for what would have been a wild 180 spray there. Did look like he had the sensitivity to maybe do it, but he can't quite find the kill. And again, we're talking about a very, very slow round here where, you know, if Serral gets a kill, fine, but once he doesn't, the round slows down even further. Now we're at 27 seconds, trying to make our way onto the B-bomb site. Counter Molotov is coming out as well. Controls gets Bimas, and that does open up for a potential bomb plant. It's suddenly got a bit more interesting here. Gizmi struggling, but will find the kill, and the bomb making its way into the smoke, but he can't dodge the bullets. 9 will have to try and escape, but Afro's already waiting for him. So, man, for the Huns, there are so many things here that have kind of gone wrong. Like, they don't get a bomb plant. They only kill one player, which means the otherwise very pressured economy of Monte is making a quick recovery from being down low. And yeah, that's such a shame. Like, even if they lose the round, if they would have got a bomb plant and again done more damage, it's an easier story to tell that, okay, Huns lose the round, but it's not the end of the world. This is pretty tough to deal with early on.
Gizmi played that round so flawlessly. Like, just being able to trade the MP9 up to the AK is one thing, but then the Molotov he tosses out gives Bimas a chance to shine. So well played from the IGL. They have quickly, into round 7, got into the A side. Tetris Molotoving out. Rainwaker, he goes down fully to the fire and flames, but Afro's there for 2 with the AWP and keeps Staircase under CT control.
I'd love to see what happened with Rainwaker throughout all of that. Felt like there would have been a chance to escape that. But yeah, Afro bringing it back into contention. Score and 9. Is there going to be a way? Look at this position for Gizmi. You could... Oh, he still doesn't get the kill. They were not ready. I think they wanted to boost over, so they were going to sort of, you know, go and get that boost, and somehow Gizmi unable to hit it. If they lose the round now, that actually could be a significant hit to the confidence of surely of Gizmi individually, even though he's 8-2, but maybe for the rest of Monte as well. This looked like one that was in the bag. That forward position was so strong. Oh.
I think Score's life just flashed before his eyes there. Anders managed to scarp her off, and with 35 seconds, they could have even rotated to B. So that's going to be in the mind of both these players. May very well force them into this flash to just have a quick peek. Now they're going to hear the bomb being planted once again as Nine tries to go in, gets winged by the AWP, but not finished off, and is successfully able to get the bomb planted regardless, and then takes the head of Afro.
Bimas on the rescue mission now, diving around. Any wallbang here will kill Nine straight away. Oh, it's actually not even true. He's down to 4 health. He did tag him. Wow, the fact that he's alive, at least for another minute there, does go down eventually. There is a kit on Bimas, so he might just commit to trying to go at this defuse. Taps are coming through from Score. It's a little bit desperate here. You got to go back on that defuse right now, Bimas. You don't have time to find the kill, and yeah, the round is going to be over. They'll clean it all up, but that is a horrendous loss of a round for Monte that it should never happen. And I think Gizmi's going to know that. Like, I'm not trying to analyze it, saying anything that Gizmi wouldn't know himself. Afro got the triple. If Gizmi wins that fight, it's all over.
Yeah, would it be? I honestly think BMAS could have stuck that defuse, though. Like, so many AK shots had already gone out through the smoke that didn't tag him. And then he fully committed to getting the kill. It's like, at that point, you know the other guy has to reload. You could have just stuck the bomb in the smoke and got that one done. I genuinely think he could have won this. It would have been a Glock firing at him through the smoke. You didn't have enough time to reload and then peek in. Either way, 5-2 the score. But yeah, I mean, you are spot on. If Gizmi is able to finish that off and be more clinical, more surgical, then we're not even down into a post-plant. We're not even down to BMAS trying to clutch that one out. But still, the 2 rounds that the Huns have picked up, you can make arguments Monte shouldn't have lost.
I think that's a fair statement. And again, will that be encouragement for Monte, or will it be a stressful thought that we're not as sharp as we should be? We are getting into winning positions, and then we're letting those go again. I don't think that ever is going to be a fun experience as a team. And again, the money is right back to that high-pressure position. The fact is, if the Huns win this next round, they get up to 3, but then they probably get straight to 4, because there's not going to be anything but USPs on the other side. So there's an enormous opportunity right now for the T side to jump straight back into the game. And 4 rounds on the T side of Mirage this early on that's going to be pretty respectable here. Attempted aggression. Score is ready, but only for one of them. Quick refrag coming in from Gizmi. And that does settle things a little bit. Controls on the window. Doesn't look like Bimas has any idea they could be here this quick. I must admit, it's a very quick window boost as well. So I can't really blame him. As long as Control stays in this position, I think... Oh, Bimas... He looked like he was going to check it. Is he going to go all the way? So far, he's just all cosmetically done it. He didn't commit to the check, and now he's dead.
Well, attack goes down. Bit of damage done, though, to multiple players. You could see from his crosshair placement, he was looking up, anticipating that the window boost was coming in, not that it had already happened. So he had no idea. Azulu instantly picked off by Controllers, who was rapid on the grenade from downtown from Rainwaker, connects perfectly, and they know that Zeralt's on triple box. They know he's on the site at this point, and just with a Mac 10 at this range, shouldn't be able to do anything against 2 rifles. So Rainwaker is going to make sure that 2-for-1 round does not come in, and that Monte continue to just pick up the pace.
Huge for them to be able to stop them in their tracks here. Again, Huns, just as much as we're talking about Monte's economy, right? But the Huns are in a similar position. And now it looks like they're having one of these halves that happen sometimes on the T side where you're never getting the momentum. Like, you're winning a couple of rounds here or there, but they're not really tied together. So you don't get the money, you don't shut down the CT side economy. It's a really weird feeling sometimes. And it happens. They're back to pistols.
They certainly are. Where are the kills going to come from? Nine has not been able to get the AWP. Not had that same level of impact over on Dust2. It was him and Zeralt. Well, between the two of them, they've only got 7 kills. A real problem is starting to muster up and gather some serious clouds overhead. The storm lingering. A potential elimination looming. And the Huns slowing down the pace. And this is kind of going back to a lot of their T sides, and as you kind of touched on this a little bit before, how sort of tentative and almost scared they looked. For me, a lot of the time, it feels like on their T sides, they're playing more anticipating that their opposition will make a mistake, as opposed to being proactive themselves and forcing those mistakes. And that really is like a massive change of mentality. When you look at the top teams, the Vitalities, the Na'Vis, they're aggressive. They're dictating the pace of the action on the T side. The Huns are just never in that kind of position, it seems.
I do fully agree. And even if, like, whatever plan you pick, whether you're going to be the aggressors or you're going to be, you know, like you said, waiting for a mistake, you have to be able to change it up depending on what the other team is doing. And if Monte aren't going to give you as many mistakes as you want, you can't keep going down that route. And similarly, if you're very aggressive and the other team is incredibly passive and just kind of letting you fight into a lot of utility, well, then maybe you do have to change it up a little bit. So it seems like the Huns are not doing a very good job at adjusting to kind of the situation on the battlefield. Gizmi trying to interrupt the bomb plant. Won't be able to do that, but Afro's on the other side. And at least some good damage onto 9. Score as well is slightly tagged up, but it's another 2v2 and another grand opportunity for the Huns to start to pick up some rounds here on this T side. Once again, the money's very low on Monte here. So for the Huns, this is a critically important round to win. Shot comes out from Afro, but he doesn't actually connect. Now he's got the USB instead, trying to get a bit closer. They're wrapping around. They run down 9, and they should be on the defuse right away. Bimas with a good burst, and they will be able to pick up the round. They've got the kits on everybody here. So 7-2. Oh, this actually is one of those slightly more depressing scorelines for the Huns. We said on Nuke, you know, that very one-sided game, there was no chance it was going to get better for the Huns. If anything, it could have been worse, but this 7-2 scoreline actually could be a lot improved for the Huns if they just win a couple of fights.
Yeah, it's like I said back on Nuke that there was only one bomb plant, right, on their entire T half. That's how much they were getting closed off. They've had multiple bomb plants. I mean, the first 3 rounds was Monte basically scampering and desperately trying to defuse the bomb. So it's been way closer than maybe the scoreline suggests. But I gotta say, Anders, the fact that they even got into a 2v2 post plant and nearly won the round there is ridiculous if you're Monte. Like I was saying, that the Huns are playing almost like they're anticipating Monte to make mistakes, and it seemed foolish. And then Monte went and made like 3 critical errors in a row, peeking into areas they didn't need to. Rainwaker goes down ramp, instantly gets ripped out open. Like very, very weird, like Monte CT side. It's kind of strange to say like a team that's winning 7-2 has made a ton of mistakes, but I think it is honestly the truth in this case.
Yeah, I would have to agree. We'll see if that continues. If it does, like, it could really cost them a lot in this half. There's still time left. If the Huns get up to 5 rounds, then that's very interesting. And with that refrag coming in on the Suwu, flashbang, perfectly set up. Well done. They clear up Bimas. Not the best grenade that I've ever seen, but we'll let that slide. Rainwaker and 9. Surely going to be finding a kill here. 9. Oh, it's right at the end. No, Rainwaker turns around. Oh, he couldn't have seen that. I don't even think that's a 4x3 situation. That is just some of the worst luck I've seen in a while. And now Rainwaker surely going to be backing off here. It's a 3-on-3 still, and they might just get a bomb plant.
Oh, big kill. Punishing the smoke. It comes from the MP9. Almost the last bullet in the magazine. And he rips off Gizmi's head. It was the penultimate bullet that sealed the deal. And now Afro on 11 kills has had a good half, but this would be going above and beyond to even get close. He does have a kit, does have a smoke, and he knows where Zerolt is, but he's completely unaware where the other 2 Ts currently reside. He's just going to hold in position. I wonder if he's going to play and try and defuse this once they run off. He's got a smoke to put down, and he does have a kit alongside it. Yeah, he's going to go in now.
There's the one. Oh, wanted to go for the follow-up. I think you're exactly right, Vince. He was hoping, because sometimes in those close situations, one of the Ts will kind of run away, and you're left with an easier time, maybe getting a kill or 2, and then kind of going for the defuse. It's definitely doable. I think you're exactly right. That would have been so cool to see. But for the Huns, it's a huge victory here. I can't believe Seralt didn't reload here. 2 bullets, like you said. It's an incredibly stylish kill. Like, why, if he's that ice cold, why can't we see more out of him?
It's a fair question. We saw a lot of that on Dust 2, so it's not a one-off. And I can't even fault Gizmy for pushing him because he would have heard the magazine was close to being at its end.
Sure.
And now, the position that you talked about a couple rounds ago with Monte's money being like basically a 2-for-1, we have reached that point. So the Huns realistically should be getting a bare minimum of 4 rounds on this half, and they'll be pushing for 5. And at that point, like, I honestly think that they have a real shot at knocking Monte out. Bartak just finishing off the rest and putting this round into its place. A bit of a formality at this point. The bomb was dropped, but plenty of time to pick it back up again.
Yeah, and they've already got control of the B-bomb site, so they got control of the A-bomb site kind of as well, so they could do whatever they want here. This is, again, just a question of making a decision. I would prefer if they kind of all grow up in the same way. Now that they got B-masters, it might not make a big difference, but yeah, it's sort of, even in this moment, it almost feels like they're stretching themselves thin for no reason, and it's not going to be an issue this time, but even in a 3v5 like that, if you've got either A or the B bomb site, just pick one and go there and plant the bomb, because there is always that chance if you linger around long enough that someone's going to die. You give them an AK, even if you don't lose the round. Why would you give them an AK to fight with in the 12th round? It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, but this is all theoretical at this point. Rainwaker is here. Bartak, if you gather up with a couple of teammates, you're going to be fine to go and find this kill, and I don't think it's going to be much of a risk any longer here. Rainwaker does get it. AK's picked up. I think they can't let him get this one in the next round. That would be criminal. And they won't. They're going to hound him. Yeah.
Indeed. The pack arrives, and they will devour their prey. Last round of the half, though. 7-4. Good purchase on the way for Monte. I think they also are going to have tons of grenades. The one downside is they don't have the AWP for Afro, but he does have an M4. I don't believe they have any kits either, so that could be a problem. Although Rainwaker, surely, you got $400 left. Wait, does Rainwaker not have a kit? Kevlar? Am I seeing that right? He's gone for an M4 and full utility, but no Kevlar.
That seems insanely bold, especially if you're going to be playing close to this position. Like, the grenades could really do some damage. That one won't connect, and the Kevlar wouldn't have saved him, so I guess it's all good in the end, but a strange choice that we rarely see. He's out of the round. Control's going to get the kill on the Afro. So this A-bomb site significantly weakened. They must know Asu is going to be here on his own. They could try and pounce, but weirdly the bomb's back in T-spawn. So maybe that's why they're kind of taking it a bit more slowly. Just winning the fights. That's fine. I don't love it when you leave the bomb that far away, but it's not an issue. And that 7-5 reality has suddenly come into play here. Which for Monte, we said, like, some of the rounds they're winning, they're very shaky, and that could be a bad sort of warning to them going into the rest of the half, and that's kind of how it's played out here. Now the money has been gone, and the Huns picking up 5 rounds, and it could have been more than that, to be perfectly honest, but still, that's a very respectable scoreline here. Monte definitely still looks shaky.
They do, yeah. They were 4-0 in the lead. They were then 5-1 in the lead, and even, what, 7-2, I want to say? The last 3 rounds were picked up from the Huns. So really, at every given turn in this half, Monte were head and shoulders away from their opposition. And now coming into the second half, the narrowest of margins, pressure's certainly mounting. And they'll realize, like, guys, we could have been, there could have been some serious daylight at this stage. We could have really taken the pressure off our own shoulders. Their T-sides have also struggled a little bit. So the game is well and truly on here, Anders. This is genuinely on a razor's edge. It's anyone's match. There is a real chance here that Monte may get eliminated by the Huns.
Yeah, that's what that's kind of what we're facing down at the moment. If that happens, that just will be so hard to explain. I mean, I love some kind of a later interview or some kind of the closing thoughts for Monte if that happens, because I can't imagine that they're easily going to be able to sort of hand wave that and say, oh yeah, like, well, it's, not the best day, so on and so forth. Like, we are talking about a Huns team that have really looked dreadful. Even if, again, we're giving a lot of credit for turning the ship around, so to speak, because it is really wild that they've managed to recover from pretty much all of the rest of their games. Even on the other days, it's just been very lackluster, but yeah, they're putting some pressure on Monte now. Let's see. Second half is here. It's the final map of the series, and it's elimination on the line. You're not going to qualify if you win this one, but you get to play another day to try and keep it going. If you lose, you're going to be knocked out of the tournament. So here we are. Now 9 looking through the smoke, or trying to catch somebody through the smoke. Not going to be possible, so bomb plant's going through. There is the smoke kit combination. Always got to point it out. 9 is the one who could work some magic in this one, and Monte have got to be vigilant about that.
Oh, Bartak, speculative shots through the smoke, but it's going to be Gizmi with a freebie. Good kills from Rainwaker, finally starting to see him deliver again. After a bit of a quiet spell, and they know that there's another player around here. They heard the shots from the smoke. So it's only a matter of time before Bartak is sniffed out, and Rainwaker is the man to secure his 3K score. Waiting in con, has no kit to play with, so there's no chance of him defusing this. I think he was waiting with a knife to maybe get a backstab and get a decent bit of cash in his back pocket, but instead, the round is going to go the way of Monte, and he does just about live to tell the tale, which is important, to be fair to him, as he does have Kevlar and also a little bit of smoke to play with. So it is a decent save, all things considered, but Monte now up to the 8 and 5. And as you highlighted, Anders, this is a 1 and 2 matchup, 3 losses, and you are out. To put it in perspective of how the teams got here, Monte have lost to FURIA and Falcons, and they beat Magic, whereas the Huns lost to Spirit and Aurora, and they beat Fisher College to get to this point.
That is exactly right. So Monte with a little bit of breathing room at the start. You win the pistol, you feel pretty good. There is going to be a force coming in from the CT side, though. Gizmi feeling the pain of those grenades, and even more so as Sue. As a Deagle connects with his skull, he's going to go down. That's not the best start here. You haven't even run into any of the 5.7s or the scouts as well on 9. Some grenades going over into the A bomb site, and they might try and make their way up the connector. In fact, that's exactly what they're doing. Gizmi, plenty of bullets to begin with, but now he's down to just 7. Afro goes down. It's still looking very tentative here on the Monte side. They've got the better weapons, but 3 versus 4.
Oh, they had no smoke for the CT side, but Gizmi gets away with it. And what happened with 9 there? It's like he got recoil before he even pressed the trigger. He just darted up and missed the shot completely. Molotov now tossed into CT. Not sure, maybe he was tapped. No, he's on 100% HP. I have no idea what happened, but score's going to go down all the way. And now Bartak gets aggressive into Firebox. They saw Gizmi retreat back into there. 2 primary rifles, though, yet to play with. And Rainwaker on 14 kills. That's a hell of a shot. Spray is good. And denies the bomb defuse as well. Beautiful from Rainwaker and keeps Monte in winning ways.
Oh, that is huge, isn't it? About time that we see Rainwaker step it up a notch here, and he just might have saved his team. We had the whole discussion about the potential for a knockout and for the full comeback here for the Huns, but that round got close, but they are still keeping it going here. And obviously, for the Hun side of things, they can't justify another kind of a force-up. So now Monte are going to get dangerously close to completing this one. Rainwaker is at 17 and 9 behind that one round. A huge impact.
It's going to be a devastating loss to sustain for the Huns. The previous 1v3 for Rainwaker, and they're going to run it back right onto the A site again. This time, way more clean. Smoke's in place, HG's behind it. No early kills. I think the Huns may have to think about giving this one up. I mean, there's nothing really to save, considering that you're going to have rifles in the next one. You just have some Deagles, bit of utility as well. But see if you can get some exit frags on the way out on the CT side. As Zeralt's about to bump head-to-head with Azu. The timing nearly goes in favor of Zeralt.
Yeah, very hard to do more than look for the exits, I think, at this moment. Which, admittedly, if it's possible to pick up even one or two rifles here, like, it all accumulates towards the end here. For the Huns, it's another long march back into the game. So if you can be helped with a couple of extra rifles at the beginning, it would be nice. Score, certainly doing damage, but I don't think they can pick up anything. So it's decent, I guess, to get a couple of kills, but it would have been really fun if they could have stolen a Galil or an AK over onto that CT side. Monte can feel the victory. They're 3 rounds away in a game that got a lot more complicated than I was expecting. Probably more complicated than Monte was expecting. And I think it's still fair to say it's a game that reveals some of the weaknesses of the Monte lineup. But I guess now is a good time to kind of bring back this idea that we've had for them for a long time. It's a fairly resilient team. I think it's the word that we keep bringing up. They do seem to be good at kind of sticking in the games, even if they are struggling a bit.
Yeah, and it's something that we said with that K27 and Magic game. Like, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be clean. This is an elimination game. It's going to be scrappy. It's going to be nasty. And Bartak, he goes in for a double. They shut down this third consecutive A hit, and they do so in style. This is so much better from the Huns. Not a single loss of life, and they can trade up to multiple AKs.
That's wild. They don't get a single kill getting onto the bomb side. I mean, it's a clear attempt for the side of Monte, just to be sure, trying to change the pace and basically get on that bomb side early on. The logic why you would want to do this, by the way, is that a lot of the times what you're going to see is that the CT side will try and take mid control really early, and they might do that with 3 or even 4 players sometimes. So if you're quick on the A-bomb side, sometimes you'll catch all the CTs in middle and basically just one player who might even be playing sort of the top connector position. So it's not completely crazy for Monte to try and do this. It's not like they just decided, oh, we don't know what we're doing, let's just rush A. There is some logic behind it. This just obviously did not work out for them.
Yeah, there's some really well-placed counter flashes. What a shot from score as well. 16 and 10 to him. We've talked throughout this event that he is one of the kind of X-Factor players that can make a huge bit of difference if he's finding himself in form. And Monte, losing that player early, no real ground has been gained. Like, sure, they've got a bit of mid-control, but you're looking at a lack of utility here. Like, there's no smokes left. They only have a Molotov. So you have to kind of go out on a dry peak and hope and pray that a fast entry comes in your favor, but you don't have any AKs either, so you're going to need to land 2 shots realistically to most of these players to even crack open the site in the first place.
Yeah, they don't even have that extra luxury. Oh, it's not going to be the AK, it's going to be the Tech 9, but controls is straight into it. Bomb is now dropped over by Shadow with about 40 seconds on the clock. Very hard to run across the bomb site once, pick up the bomb, then go back and put it down without anyone interrupting that. Barys, that's a very nice idea. Going through the smoke like that, catching controls, actually could take the pressure here, or could take the fight to 9. It might be a better choice, because the longer they wait, the more difficult it's going to get. The bomb is planted. If Monte get out of this, a 2 versus 4, oh, the Huns are never going to live it down. They're going to be regretting it. They're going to wake up in the middle of the night weeks from now with nightmares about a round like this one. They're just embarking on the comeback, and it could be a really spectacular one as well. Suwu gets the easy spray down on score. 9, why is he not pressuring on the other side? You got your teammate there. Finally, he steps it up. Now Barys swings into the battle, and he's going to get it. Darting back around the corner. There is a kit just picked up from Seralt. He's going to tap it once. He's got one opportunity, and he will hit the headshot. But unfortunately, it took a second too long, and he has to run away instead. The bomb will claim him. A 2 versus 4 that the Huns somehow managed to give away.
Barys played that so exquisitely, man. Like you highlighted, he pushes that smoke and applies the pressure on CT box, but it's like 2-pronged. 1, you're looking for kills. Secondly, you're opening space to get the bomb planted as fast as possible, because one of the constant themes and the constant problems you have on T sides hitting A multiple rounds is you are often susceptible to fast flanks all the way around through T spawn into ramp or palace. They knew that they were on a window of opportunity, and Barys made sure he kicked that open as fast as possible with that kill. So well played. But on the other side of the coin, the Huns, you even called it, man. Like, they're peeking 1 by 1. There's no counteractive play. They lose a player triple. 9 is still in CT spawn. Like, you've got to be on the same page. You've got to have that kind of flank, that hit simultaneously, that crunch. It's here where squad dies. 9's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. And unfortunately, those are the kind of timings and the kind of slip-ups there that gives Monte the extra space, the extra, couple of centimeters to work around. And enough for the ultimate clutch to come through there on the Monte side in spite of everyone dying. Which I guess is the one silver lining here. If you're on the Hun side of things, you're thinking, okay, we got a double up going into this one. They can't have any money on the T side. We can still make it back. And it's still true. If they win this round, they probably go to 8 rounds almost right away. Let's see how this plays out. Window boost is up there. No one, I think, is expecting that right now. Seralt, he's back hitting more shots, though. We do like that. Oh, 9 checks it. I don't think he saw him. I think he missed that by a second. So this B bomb site is very, very close to going down. The double AWP might get to fire. No shots here from Score. Oh, he actually had a chance to shoot that. 9 is going to be catching him. Wild. 3 versus 4. It's still on for the Huns. They can still make this happen. Sterolt's going to be traded out, but the fact that he got the 1 kill is plenty enough. Vimas in a 1 versus 3, and this time it's a bridge too far. Huns will pick it up, denying the bomb plant, and the money is completely reset here for Monte. This is going to be a tough game once again for them.
It is, and credit to the Huns for digging in, not letting that 2v4 get in the back of their heads too much. And Azuru did everything he could have asked of him, honestly, like wrapping around the back, getting the kill, wasn't anticipating that the secondary AWP would be already moving into the marketplace. And it's a good closeout from Control-As in the end. So a lifeline, still alive, still kicking. Got to make sure that they don't fall prey to a fast Tech-9 rush, though. I think they'll have a good read of the situation, though. They'll know that the Huns have now lost... Sorry, that Monte have lost a lot of rounds and been super scrappy in terms of how many casualties they've sustained. Plus, this timeout, I think, kind of gives away the economic situation, if nothing else. So you would think that the Huns are going to be on point. Throw that early utility, try and draw Monte out into the open if they can.
This has just been one of the weirder games I've seen in a minute. So we did say, in fairness, we did say at the start of it, we don't really have any expectations coming to Mirage because, you know, it's just been so hard to guess what's going to happen next. But that same level of chaos has followed us into the 3rd map. And the Huns looking to see what they could do. There is going to be some upgraded pistol and a little bit of armor here, so... Curious if they can find any kind of entry. Bomb plant and a couple of kills would be great to this stage, but it's looking very, very unlikely. Afro, he does get 1, but they are slowed down enough here in the hallways to be that I don't think there's even a chance for a bomb plant any longer. Tech-9 picked up once again. Rainwaker trying his best to find another one. They've got 2 kills in the round. It's kind of something for Monte, but I think the bomb plant would have been the real cherry on top.
Yeah, the jewel in the crown, because that was a full investment round, I believe. So you are looking at another eco. The Huns will be 11-9, more than likely. And that straight-up B-rush, neutralized from early utility that was tossed down, and then really good positioning from the Huns afterwards. So this looks like it is going to be going the distance. As Monte have, I mean, literally no investment, so to speak, of whatsoever. No flashes. They're down to around $2,000 between the lot of them. So the Huns have a golden opportunity here, man. And the way that Monte have been looking a little bit shaky to me, I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe get an OT out of this one.
That could happen. I mean, that's what we thought was going to happen on Dust2, right? It was gearing up to that kind of a thing. The same thing as, I think, on the menu this time around. Bomb is in Palace. If you can jump down, even if everybody dies, and get the bomb plant, you'll take it. You need absolutely everything at the moment. Control's uncomfortable to start with. That might secure the bomb plant, though. Maybe not score. I think we just found Vimas, who was running in there with it, so losing control's not really the end of the world. Not getting the bomb plant, though, is kind of annoying to that T side. It would have actually made a difference in terms of their ability to buy some more utility. So here we are. 11-9, only 2 rounds separating the teams as the Huns now, the CT side of Mirage, they're starting to wake up ever so slightly. And Monte, like you said, looking shaky. Some of the cracks are starting to show here in their gameplay. And that's just, it's not what I was expecting, not at this stage. Rainwaker is playing supremely well. He's got 20 kills, but let's see what they could do.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought this series would be done like 2 hours ago, the way it was looking after that dude. But credit to the Huns. 9 gets splattered down to 6 HP, but still alive with the AWP, so he'll be okay. In that previous round, the Monte may not have realized they had 2 players exceptionally low on the Huns, both below around 5 health. So it could have been a real painful encounter for the CTs. Azuru now getting down into the underpass. 3 players on B. 9's one of them. Almost baiting out as well. Zerolt just unloaded a full magazine into the wooden panels. Feels to me like that's a bait and switch onto the AWP. And to allow 9 to maybe get that first shot off and surprise them on the approach.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice idea. Don't hate them trying something like this. I mean, they're so close to getting the job done, so even one opening kill could make a big difference. 9 ready and waiting, and it's an easy shot. Demas goes down. Oh, Gizmi's going to be next. He was coming in from the catwalk position in middle. He's down and out, and Rainwake, he was so focused on chasing down 9 that he forgot about the fact that there was going to be a second player on that bomb site. Afro and Asuru kind of locked out of the round here. The Huns are going to get up to 10. And there's nothing that anyone can do about it. And again, even worse for Monte. The money is still in a very weird position. So you said overtime, but there's an outside chance here that the Huns could even take it in regulation. And again, for Monte, I can't imagine what a weird feeling it would be if they end up losing this game.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just looking very flat, isn't it? Like, there's no real bite to these T rounds. You can see what they're going for, like the B split through on catwalk, a B simultaneously, but they completely walked into the trap that had been set up for them. Start out with the spray, and you saw it. They didn't anticipate that 9 would be in this position. Because the way they just wide swung out on apps, there's no way you're doing that if you think an AWP is watching. You're at bare minimum throwing a flash, either over the wall to blind the van in the back of the site, or you're going for a pop flash before you peek that. Just running out dry like that is like you're inviting to die, basically. You're asking to be shot. So 9, who was put down at 6 HP on connector in the first 5 seconds of the round, picks up a triple. And now Monte are desperately gasping for air, clambering for any small advantage they can get. And it is the hero AK from Azu saved off from the last round. That's really the only thing they have to play with. 9, same idea, but different position, hiding in the window on B apps.
Still a minute and 20 seconds here, but it does feel like sort of the calm before the storm here as they're trying to get up through connector. Bartak finds a headshot. Seralt, he did spot them out, did a little bit of damage, even more so now with the nade. He doesn't even really see what he's shooting at, but it doesn't matter. He's doing a lot of damage. He got the kill as well. And this is falling apart very rapidly. Huns equalizing the scoreline. Gonna make their way to 11 here. Yeah, there's no point in fighting this score. You don't really have to at all. Keep everything alive. Keep it going. Keep the momentum right now. Afro, again, even a bomb plant would be nice. If he can jump past and plant, like just pull out the bomb and run right now, it's actually doable. If 9 misses a shot, then there's definitely a chance here. But it's going to be the only one they have, and they do need the money. Oh, okay. Short for a second. Does get past. Yeah, go straight for it here. I don't think getting more kills is at all irrelevant. Bomb plant would be the real thing that you're looking for. They're all coming for him. No bomb plant going to be allowed for. The Huns have equalized the game. What are we watching? 11-11.
Some really good calling from 9, man. Like, he is constantly in the right positions. He is a couple steps ahead of Gizmi. They're on A. He's lurking around connector. They decided to start hitting B consistently. He's in B apps. Omnipresent. It'll feel like he's living in Gizmi's head rent-free. And from a vast lead, it was like 11-6, I want to say. Now we are nearly in a position where Huns are taking the lead and they're just a couple rounds away from the finish line. Monte's tournament life is hanging by a thread. Momentum, everything heavily in favor of the CTs. And 9 mixes it up again. Gets himself activated over on A, starting to rotate back around. Score has the secondary AWP perched in B apps. They've utilized this multiple times, and they had a ton of success with it back on Dust2.
Oh, Seralt, he's been very good in this position. He misses Gizmi by a second, so I might be shocked if Gizmi come back out right now. There's a chance that Seralt's not going to be able to react in time. As Suwu's here, he seems like he's in a very exposed corner. But they don't have a flashbang right now to even set up a kill against them, which is kind of weird. Asu has a smoke, but otherwise they could have flashed Gizmi in for that fight. And Gizmi's not having any luck finding anyone else right now. Maybe if he sticks around, Controls is going to be surprised. They just dodged each other. I think actually Gizmi might have seen the gun barrel without even realizing. But nobody's dead yet. 45 seconds. It'll be Controls to open up. Asuwa goes down. It's a really well-timed peek. And now Gizmi's walking back into it. Just there checking. And now he's gone again. Afro gets a kill. Not with the AWP because he can't afford it. Gizmi's going to find Seralt. And there's a big chance right here. Monte needs some kind of recovery. And this could be the round that at least gets them to series point.
2-up setup for the retake is so dire. Control-S is low. He has to try and take the point because he's got the one rifle, but he's the weakened player. One bullet and he's gone. Sees the trajectory of the flash from Tetris, knows where one of the players are, but Score is a goner. And although Control-S had the drop, only one bullet required. Nothing 9 can really do about this. Trying to keep them interested. They have more than enough funds to buy into the last round regardless here. So he's going to go out on his shield, try and take as many of these T's with him as possible. Deny the AWP if he can. First shot is good on Rainwaker. Doubles up onto Gizmy. And with this flash, he should be able to keep himself alive. The bomb detonates, but he's okay. And BMAS, try as he may to close the gap, is not going to get there in time. In fact, he does, but 9 splatters him. And this is costly for Monte.
That is a really good point. That's actually could have a bit of an impact on the following round. So even though you couldn't win it, you could still carry on over in some kind of damage into the next round here. 12-11 though. Monte, they've got one crack at this, one chance to finish it in regulation. Otherwise, it's going to go into overtime, and this has been a wild game. It started, just to recap on Nuke, with a 13-2 victory in favor of Monte. And it just looked like the Huns, they did not show up. They weren't playing Counter-Strike on any level that could even be recognizably tied to a tournament of this caliber. But on the second map, they came back in, and they somehow revitalized themselves. And Monte, I think, were just shell-shocked at what was happening. They weren't ready for the kind of turnaround that the Huns managed to bring in there. So they end up winning Dust2, 13-10, and now we're on Mirage. And, you know, both teams making tons of mistakes. There's lots of stuff going on right now, but, you know, the Huns, they look the strongest they've looked almost all tournament long. Let's see if they can find one more round and get this one into OT. Otherwise, it's going to be Monte walking away with a victory, yes, but also kind of a strange feeling, it must be said. Monte should have been the much better team here today.
I see people in chat asking why are they hunting for the AWP so much. This is the carrot that dangles in front of a team like Monte that desperately want Afro on the AWP as much as possible. Yeah. That's the other side of the coin. They wanted Afro to be donning that in this round because he is so damn good. So credit to 9 for holding on, but it is at a great cost, and they're going to be bypassing into Connector as Zulu picks up the kill, 4 away from securing their tournament life and knocking the Huns out. But Bartak is there, blows open the smoke, but can't quite transition with the spray.
Ooh, I think he was out of bullets as well. Ducked down behind. There's no backup there. 9 in some trouble right now. The Tech 9 might not be the weapon for it, or maybe it is exactly that. Controls comes in time. And 9, he was so low on health. I thought he was going to get checked immediately. The bomb dropping forwards. Wow, Afro clearing that even more than anyone. There's no one that could have hidden in that corner, but he wanted to make absolutely sure. 45 seconds. Bomb being planted. Score. Oh, it's going to be on the other side. 9 through the side of the wall. He's found Gizmy. I'd love to see the replay of that. And it's all on Afro. Out in the open. They're going to peek him from spawn. He might be dead already here. Overtime secured as 9 finds a triple, starting with the Tech 9. And now he's up to 20 kills. Oh, this is going to be a very painful loss. Whoever loses this game, it's going to be one that they'll remember for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, this is fraught with head-scratching moments and, like, not entirely sure what the hell is going on. Like, Afro at the end decides to stand on top of the default box against 2 players. I mean, I don't know. I guess he just gambled it. But you got to have more faith in yourself, man. Like, hiding behind the box there, you can peek multiple angles. Like, you can shimmy and shake and dance a little bit, but that's the easiest kill of 9's life. An OT beckons. We have reached the overtime in the 3rd map. And who would have ever thought this was possible after Nuke?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I agree. Like, once the bomb is down, you've got the AK Afro. Try to reposition. Try to see if you can't make it a painful defuse for them. Standing out in the open like that means that's it. You know, you miss the timing on one or the other side, and you're not even you didn't even get a chance to fight. So probably a sign, I think, of the level of sort of stress and confusion that's been tied to this game. That's definitely been the feeling overall. Scoreline is 12-12, ladies and gentlemen. And we are going into overtime on this final map. You lose, you are eliminated from the tournament. And I think for Monte especially, that would be very, very painful. The Huns did say, I mean, if they can If they keep fighting, if they could somehow get 3 wins here, that'd be a huge victory for them. And I agree, it seems out of the question that's going to happen. But the fact that they're still here is a bit interesting. Rainwaker, double opening. Bartak goes down next. The Hungarian player just coming in, or not Hungarian, Bulgarian player coming in and wrecking them. So Seralt and score left. Gotta be careful with those different Middle European countries.
Well, he was hungry for the kills, Anders.
True,
we'll
nice. That should have been the save.
If
my brain was as fast as yours, Vince, it would have been great. It could have worked out fine.
Understandable, dude. There's been a lot of CS today, a lot of WTF moments, I think it's safe to say. But Rainwaker, what a time for him to come alive again. 3 opening picks, 3 entries, single-handedly dials in Monte's first round in this OT. And that's the kind of hero plays they're looking for. It's been antsy. It's been really anxious on their T sides. Often they have the idea, but they don't follow through with it as clinically as you'd like. So it's good to see that Rainwaker at least is up to the task. He's like, let me at him, Chief. Let me go out first. I'll pick up some kills. This round, super successful.
Very, very cool work. He's so lightning fast. Like his crosshair in the right position at every moment. You got to appreciate that. 24 kills on him. And that starts overtime up pretty nicely. But again, it's been a real struggle to even get here for both sides of it. So winning the first round of overtime has got to feel pretty good. Still a double up setup on the CT side, which is very interesting. Score. He's going to go down. That was straight up winning the fight against the AWP at range. Devastating way to go down early, and Bimas might be on for almost a free kill here. Controls. He's waiting on the other side. A huge off angle. Wait a minute. If Bimas loses patience now and takes a step forward, then he himself could be very dead. Oh, he's not. Again, the crosshair. It couldn't have been better.
It's a really good shot from Bimas. It'll be a devastating blow if you are the Huns, though. Already down 1 round in OT. 2 players, one of which is your start and score. Control S has also been on point. 9, missing a shot. Haven't seen that too many times over the duration of these last 2 maps. Bartak is in a very strong position, though. And as long as 9 continues to be a presence, they're not going to check Ninja's spot. He gets the hit and run down to a 3-on-3.
How do they get into these positions? It's just so confusing. You had both the openings, you had everything the way that you wanted. Now you got to get back here. If they can find Seralt, it's fine. They can get the bomb planted, and they've got a Suwu in the middle to catch any rotations. Oh, the spray is anything but perfect. Gives me such a labored fight, but he comes out on top nonetheless. And yeah, leave 9 alone. Get over here, all right. Or kill him. I'll take that as well as a secondary option.
That
okay,
works.
they win the round. My God.
Yeah, leave him or just take his head off. You know, either of those options work. Yeah, that spray, I think Gizmi's heart was probably in his mouth for a couple of seconds because he knows the importance. He had a player pushing on Biaps, which is why he snatched at the opportunity. He wanted to come through with the bomb and get that planted. So if Gizmi loses out against Seralt, then who knows what the hell happens in that round. Anything could have happened, but I think Monte will be in a situation again where it's like a big sigh of relief. You're in a 5v3, you really let it slip. Nice shot from Afro, to be fair.
Well then, here we go. A lot of speed behind this one. It's Rainwaker opening up on 9, and Gizmi's going to be taking down Score. They've decided to change the pace once again. It didn't work out for them last time they tried this, but it is looking promising here. Seralt, though, nearly bursting down Bimas, but he backs up into Gizmi, who's going to find a second kill of the round, and that kill will give them the bomb plant and put the Huns in a very awkward position. Monte rallying the last bit of strength that they have in this game. They couldn't find it in regulation. Now it's on OT, and they look to be winning 3 in a row. That is the best possible outcome that they could have had here. And the Huns, for all the battle that they had to get this one into OT, now is not the time to let go. Now is not the time to slip up. Gizmi finds a 3rd headshot. Well played for the captain of the team as well. 1 round away now, Monte, from sending the Huns out of the tournament.
Mate, where was this Monte before? They won 2 rifle rounds on their T side, and now they're suddenly gods. Like, they can't make any mistakes. It's so wild to me. That's such a change in pace, such a change in proficiency. When it really counts, they have risen to the challenge. 3 rounds required. The Huns fighting for their tournament life in this 1-2 elimination match. This the 3rd decider map. And can the Huns get it done on their T half? The bomb, I was going to say the bomb, the smoke got blew open and Afro takes down 9.
He's back on that AWP again, something that they've been struggling in this game to be able to afford, but OT does give you that extra benefit. Up to 20 kills, Afro, Bartak, trying to find an opening. I don't want to see Rainwaker necessarily recommit to this fight. I just don't think it's worth it. You're probably at a big advantage on the CT side in that battle, but the problem is all it takes is one stray bullet and you're dead and the other team is back into it. And since you already have the lead, why go for the risk at all? It seems like the Huns have decided it's going to be the final bomb site to be hit here. 2 people in connector, and with Rainwaker playing this slight off angle, it's actually a really good setup, I think, for the CT side.
Yes, a bit of an orthodox position as well for Rainwaker. You anticipate him to be a little bit deeper onto this one, so he can quickly wrap around towards Sandwich Peak. So they're just going to be spraying down towards him, but Controller's just completely bites down on that bait and gets punished for it. Afro pops up, deals with Bartak and goes back down again. Score and Zeralt, all that remained for the Huns, and a 2-on-4 with 30 seconds to save their lives.
Bimas in a position that's going to get him a free kill on Zeralt if he keeps going like this. Back checking it. Oh, he was actually ready for it, Zeralt. That's pretty good, but shot in the back by Afro. They were so committed to the idea that Rainwaker was going to be at that triple box. That's what they thought, that he was behind, but he's a little bit further back on the wall, and they just didn't see it coming. Afro with the final kill. It took overtime on the 3rd map, but it will be Monte. Moving on to the tournament, it will be the Huns knocked out, but a much, much more difficult match than anyone, I think, expected here today. And both teams definitely showing signs of trouble along the way.
I have no idea what